Hey, what's going on? What's up? I think some people might be joining me tonight. Let's see. But I've been a busy beaver. I've been on a bunch of shows, guesting on everybody's pods. But I want to be on a black pod, but I feel like it never happens. I want to find some black podcasters to have on the show and also some black people's podcasts to go on. But yeah, for some reason it doesn't happen. I can't. Uh, I have some black podcasts that I want to try out, and if I like them, then I'll invite them on. See if we can exchange appearances. Hey, Max Brown. But yeah, in general, man. Hey, Young Stokely, how's it going? Yeah, in general, man. Um, I want some podcasts outside of the same left podcasting space. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd go on Joe Rogan. Fuck it. Yeah, why not? Kanye can go on Joe Rogan. Why can't I? Ask him about some of his weird statements. Yeah, but like, hey, Goldlink, like I think Joe Rogan has said some like racist things in the past, but you know, I would still go on. Mm, I want to see more YouTuber podcasts, to be honest, for the Patreon. I don't know what you're trying to say. Um, would I go on the Hotep Jesus? I think the guy is a bright guy, but I just feel like he gets too trolly sometimes. Like I wish he would just pick what he believes and stick with it. I feel like sometimes he goes MAGA, sometimes he goes pro black out the blue, and yeah, people like that have trouble like figuring out. Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay's pod. No, I haven't tried it. Is it good? I wouldn't mind trying it. I invited Van Lathan on when he first came out with that Red Pill podcast, and he agreed, and then I didn't follow up in time, and then that was it. Definitely dropping Lex's podcast for this. What is that? Let me know what it is. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'm trying to find more black YouTubers. In fact, I'm gonna open up a Google document, and if you guys drop some names of stuff.
Google Docs is a word processor included as part of a free
Google, stop.
based Google Docs suite offered by Google.
Hey, Google, stop. Yes, sorry about that. I got one of those Google Home things as my Bluetooth speaker. And as a result, when you say Google, it picks up. A lot of people up in here for a Sunday night. How's it going? Postelino's brother, how you doing? Alex Marquez, Perez Muniz, Diaz, Prudaz Thoreau. How you doing? It's a long ass name. Posada bot. That's not a person, right? Is that? It's an actual bot. Um, I don't know what that is. Twitch, I have a lot of trouble understanding. Oh, podcasts involving YouTubers. Yeah, I don't really know much about the YouTube scene, but we're actually going to do a podcast about the YouTube scene. But one problem I have with the YouTube scene is people just be beefing on the YouTube scene like way too much, man. Like people tried to call us into like a YouTube beef, and then it's just like endless diss tracks. I feel like YouTube is just like the YouTube black scene has so much like gossip and infighting and people dropping diss tracks on each other and people talking about other YouTubers like they're celebrities. Like so and so dropped diss track against this YouTuber, and you know this person responded, and I'm dropping a video to talk about the beef between these two, and then next week they're all friends. Like YouTubers be doing like 3 hour ether tracks on each other and then be friends like the next week. It's really weird. Then they do it again. Like the Black Manosphere has like a lot of that. Yeah, they love having beefs with each other and they be friends again. And I'm not like good like that. Like I'm like very patient with you, but then when we fall out, we pretty much fall out. Like I never understand people who be falling out and be friends again, be back friends again, then falling out, be back friends again, week to week. It's really crazy. Oh, yeah, yeah. I like Lord Jamar's podcast. I like him in general. I know he can be problematic, but he's I mean, black liberal media is just so boring and PC. Like I can appreciate Lord Jamar. I never heard of Onyx Truth. Y'all give me some names. I've been trying. Oh, Lord Jamar and Umar Johnson have a beef. I didn't know this. Yeah, but the Black Manosphere guys be beefing all the time. Yeah, and this is true. As somebody's like, approaching middle age, I don't want to be one of these characters, middle-aged dudes beefing. It's just, yeah, and they're always talking about get on the plane. Like it's like, yo, get on the plane, son. Yo, get on the plane. Yeah, it's like, so stop it. No one's getting on a plane. No one's getting on a plane, man. Chill. No one's getting on a damn plane. People just be talking tough talk nonstop on online. It's oof. Black liberal media is perfectly captured by Atlanta the show. Yeah, I can kind of see it. But even Atlanta, I think has something interesting to say. Like it's not just um trying to lecture people. Like a lot of black media is just too didactic and oh, one dude did pull up. Oh, oh, someone's I didn't know about this. Someone actually I respect that. Someone actually got on the plane. I mean, I know there was that guy on Twitter who the meet me in Temecula guy. There was a dude who really drove up just where someone lived, and the other guy didn't show up. But a lot of people were laughing at him. But I'm like, I actually respect that. You know, yeah, I respect that. Oh, so Colonel COVID Gaddafi used to write for the Black Manosphere. I didn't know they had a. I didn't know they had a official site. Wait. Are you talking about Elon James White, the one who talked about his how his white wife, his family wouldn't let him in for Thanksgiving dinner. He had to eat his Thanksgiving dinner on the porch. That guy? I have no idea what people are talking about stuff. I don't even understand what it is. I have no idea what this means. Oh, Elon Musk. Oh, he got I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to figure it out. Yeah, Vita's gonna be joining us, so that's cool. Yeah, but one of the problems with appearing on all these leftist podcasts is I have no problem doing it because I always try to pay it forward. You know what I mean? And I've always wanted people to come on my podcast. So I try to treat people like I'd want to be treated. So because I'd always like people who invite me to come on my podcast, even if I'm way smaller than them. I always try to go on the podcasts of people smaller than me as well. As long as you don't believe in no crazy stuff. Um, but the problem with the white leftist podcast is that I started on like the biggest white leftist podcast, which is Chapo Trap House. That's where I first appeared for a couple of times. So I pretty much maximize the Chapo audience, meaning anybody who is into white leftist podcasts who is going to subscribe to my podcast by now. They've had like 3 or 4 of appearances of me to bite the bullet and do it. So all these podcasts that are smaller podcasts in that same universe is just a smaller bite at the same apple. You know what I mean? Like it's like if somebody heard me on like the biggest leftist podcast and still didn't want to fuck with me, then a leftist podcast in that same universe with a smaller subset of that same audience. I don't think I'm gonna reach anybody new. And I like the idea of going on podcasts with a whole different audience and reaching a whole different um thing, So yeah, I have two types of followers: people who've never been part of the white leftist space, never listened to Chopper or any of those podcasts, or people who have listened to it and decided to fuck with me. But I don't think I have any more inroads to make in that audience. Like I feel any inroads I'm gonna make in that audience. I never understand why people keep asking me to come on this. Like, I just don't find this person very interesting. But a lot of people who like me like her, and they keep wanting me to go on that thing. I don't know. Um, yeah, Colonel Gaddafi. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, that would go great. I'm sure they like critical voices. Yeah, I'm sure they really want to hear from me. That podcast is amazing. It's just so self-congratulatory. Like that crowd, that blue check crowd. I don't understand why they need so much constant self-affirmation, but they do. They need every 10 seconds to through they need every 10 seconds to remind themselves that they're wonderful. It's pretty horrible. But yeah, the first yeah, it would be fun, but I wonder how much of their audience I could peel off. I feel like it would be maybe some hate listeners. I don't know. I just can't see any of their audience enjoying me, but that would be funny. That would be funny. I would like to be on one of those shows. Um yeah, yeah. So yeah, I would love to be on one of those shows just to see what it's like. I would love to hang out with one of those people like privately and see if they really believe a lot of the stuff that they say, or if they just think it's what's gonna get them um clout and jobs. This is interesting. Yeah, I don't know this guy, but I'll check him out. Yeah, actually, Benjamin Dixon, I'm like way overboard to go on, but he was supposed to come on my show and it just never worked out. He was gonna come on my show and it was booked, and then he went really viral over the Bloomberg tweet, and they started having him on MSNBC, and never got a chance to have him on. Forgot to follow up. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's still left. I would really like to just be like on a regular black podcast, just talking about like movies or sports or something. Um, yeah, so I'd really like some ideas with that. I don't really care if it's big. I just want to just be on just a regular black, maybe even like a political podcast. Yeah, just as long as it's not some blue check hell. Yeah, but let me kill time until Vita comes. I actually have some stuff I want to talk about. I'll just talk about it until Vita comes. Da, 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 da. But yeah, um, let people know if you're on Twitch. Feel free to host a stream or share on your social medias that we're up. Go on, go on Twitter, go on Facebook, share the link. Let's get more people up in here. Let's see how many people we can get up in here. Let's get like a shit ton full of people up in here. I should stop cursing because I think they demonetize me when I curse. Every single video I do is like demonetized, and they don't tell me why. And I looked up the rules finally, and apparently you're not supposed to. curse. So that probably explains why like, every single people are suggesting different YouTubers. Like I'm wary of YouTubers because they just have too many beefs, and I just don't want to be in one of those compilation get on the plane beef videos. Like someone said, it's just a bad look. But so sorry, I'm not black enough to have any suggestions which aren't blue check. But that's part of the problem is like the gatekeeping is so bad in the black side that they make it so the only black people that are easy to hear about are just like the most obnoxious blue checks. You know what I mean? We have a guest coming on who's a expert on the black manosphere. He said T trying to duck the YouTuber fade. It's not even like I'm trying to duck a fade because I don't think it's gonna be a fade. I think it's one of those things where everyone looks bad. You know what I'm saying? Like like someone did a video on us and it was like 3 hours long, and the person was just flipping out and was like on some incel stuff, and they were mostly talking about Ken, not me, because Ken was the one kind of arguing with the guy, and I was thinking to Ken, I was like, don't even like these people will try to take one crumb of attention and turn it into like 8 hours of beef videos. But you know, Ken went in and then the guy did like 2 videos, like 6 hours total. And he was just going on and about these bees won't mess with a guy except unless he has looks or money and looksism and incel this and all this stuff. And I was like, if we do one response to this guy, that's gonna put a battery in his back for like 15 more hours of stuff, and then we'll get so much stuff. And I just think that's just a bad look when you're approaching middle age. That's just a bad look. It just does not look like see, someone says, using for attention from who? Whose attention am I gonna get? Like more people like them. That's the last thing I need. I don't want those people. Like one of the things that happens with us, right, is we talk a lot about um messed up stuff that a lot of black feminists do. But we try very hard not to be anti-black woman or anything. We try to talk about a very specific demographic, and we also talk about the men in that circle. But because we do bring up stuff about that certain type of feminist a lot, we get some people who just don't like black women and just want, who think, oh, this is a safe space to bash black women. And we do a lot to purge those guys. If those guys come into like my mentions or say something that's like really misogynist, I'll like tell them off and I'll block them and stuff. And I'll say like, don't talk that stuff about black women. We're talking about like a certain group of weirdos, and there's guys in that group too. And this is not like a safe space for like, incel stuff. So we've turned off a lot of those dudes. And if I go on one of those guys' videos or get stuck in a beef with them, we're gonna be right back on those type of dudes' radar. It's gonna be suddenly nonstop attraction from those guys. I don't really feel like even having that in yeah, exactly. They're just more people like themselves. That's the last thing I want, is to be in that circle. Honestly, I would rather have a divester on. Like, I find the divester is like really way more interesting. Like that. There's one Danielle. Man, I don't know. I enjoy her videos. I don't know why it's the most ignorant stuff, but she just comes out like she's so over the top. I think she's like an Andy Kaufman type. Like she had one video. She said, "Black women, be careful about doing all this protesting and Black Lives Matter stuff, because without the cops, who's going to protect us from black men?" And she was like, we need these cops to police brutality, these black men, because if not, they're going to be beating us up. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even be mad. She's just so funny. I just keep watching her. Chrissy too. I like Chrissy. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, something about Chrissy, man. I watch Chrissy. Chrissy's kind of Chrissy's smart. I don't always agree with what she actually. Oh, hey Fatima, how's it going? Yeah, I don't agree with everything Chrissy says. Well, most of it, but she'll come to it through thought at least. Like I can follow her train of thought. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think I could reason. I don't know why. I feel like I'd have fun with Danielle. Danielle, like I know it'd probably drive the core audience crazy. Like, why are you entertaining this lady? But something about her, I just find entertaining and fun. I can't understand it. Yeah, like Chrissy talks a certain amount of sense. Like Chrissy will be talking, and I'll be messing with her like 3/4 of the way, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of with you, and then she'll just come out the blue with, and that's why black men want to exterminate dark skinned women. It's like, whoa, whoa, how'd you even get here? Like, show your work. You kind of, oh yeah, my YouTube recommendation algorithm. Yo, what I do is I use a whole different thing now just to search the craziness on YouTube. I don't do it on the Champagne Sharks one. So yeah, I have one personal account that's pretty effed up, but the Champagne Sharks account is still kind of normal. Hey JG, what's going on? Yeah, man, but we're like, I feel like black men are going to be the Bernie Bros of 2020. Like they are really preparing to have black men be the scapegoats for if Joe Biden loses. But I think it's not even just that. I think if the Democrat grifter complex is a team, um, black women want to be in the starting five, and I think they kind of feel like they're competing with black men for that space. And I'm not talking about all black women. I'm talking about this particular um, group of media savvy anti-black male black women. I think they don't just want to have black men take the blame if Biden loses. I think, and this is almost more important, I think they want black men to not get the credit if Biden wins. Because then, if Biden and Harris win, if black men are as considered as important to that win as black women, then they'll have to be competing for the patronage jobs against black men. But if they can spread the narrative that Biden won in spite of black men, not partially because of them, then that makes it easier to freeze black men out of what they are hoping is going to be this golden age of patronage. Hey Kamaria, how's it going? Um, Something that I think is gonna happen, and maybe this is part of the plan. I think they actually want to drive black men to vote for Trump out of spite because the way they keep coming at them, there's no way they can really be trying to win them over. You know, and yeah, part of me thinks that they want this to happen. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Danielle did that too. Oh yeah, this is not Danielle one. The masculinization of black women in the media is a problem. Then she cites all the right evidence logic, but then concludes that it's because they're trying to get the state to target us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Danielle will start off good and go to some weird places, but yeah, I just find her weirdly entertaining. I've been watching a lot of that divest stuff, and I can take it. I can take it over the Black Manosphere stuff easily because the Black Manosphere stuff is just angry, angry, angry. Whereas there'll be some interesting trains of thoughts on the divest stuff that some of it I'll actually agree with. I mean, I never agree with where the conclusion ends up going, but okay. So hold on, Vita doesn't have a link. Hold on, let me include her. Let me just send Vito a link. Yeah, I hope she comes in soon because then I can go. The manosphere is basically what you get when men learn about women from boomers. Sly said, I'm not familiar with either space. Yo, Sly, you got to watch Divest Twitter. I'm going to email you some Divest Twitter. Like, Divest Twitter has some funny stuff, man. Um, One Divest Twitter thing I saw, it was interesting. There was a lady who was married to a black man, and she's like, I'm a divester, not a swirler. And I was thinking, like, oh, this is interesting. How can you be a divester but not a swirler? And then she was like, swirlers romanticize dating white men, and they're like have no self-respect, and they will debase themselves for any white male attention. She's like, I'm not a swirler. I don't worship white men. And she had like contempt for swirlers. She goes, I'm a divester. And apparently the difference is, this is pretty interesting. She claimed the difference is that divestors believe in divesting from the black community. So she's married to a black man, but she does not believe in caping for what they call Blackistan. She doesn't believe in protesting over police brutality. She doesn't believe, like, she calls pro black pro whack, and that the black community is like a cesspool and a crabs in a bucket environment. And yeah, I didn't think so either, but she made it clear. And I'm not sure if even all divestors think like her, but um in her circle, they felt that you could be with the black men and still divest as long as you hate the black community. So yeah, I found that really interesting. Um, hey, oh,
Hey.
oh, look at that, looking really professional. Look at that. On the job interview. Look at this.
In my brother's office. This is where I usually record the podcast.
Oh
So,
yeah, but usually you don't have that background. Like that background looks very professional, man. I feel like why. So why do you want to work for our company? And for I gotta think about where I want to be in 10 years.
back here, if you look, actually are Black entrepreneurs like my brother really admires.
Yeah, I noticed there were black figures. I was curious what the theme was.
They're all Black male entrepreneurs that my brother like
Okay.
works
Oh,
with. Yeah.
wait. So your brother's erasing black women? Why are there no black female entrepreneurs?
He's inspired by Black. He's a Black man inspired by Black men. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
your brother's canceled. I'm gonna my Twitter standards. He's canceled. He's gonna need to be go to the programming camp and be set straight. You know.
I mean, yeah, there has to be some sort of Black feminist boot camp he can go to that I can send him to.
Yeah, you should put Feminista Jones on the back wall as an entrepreneur, and then everything will be good. Look, B. Scott said, "I'll simp for Vita." LOL.
Wait, I see. What's this going on in the comments?
They're talking about simping for you.
I'll simp for Vita.
Someone put Q to Vita simping. Yeah. You know what? We don't have enough people right now on Twitch, but Twitch is where the simps really live. If you want to get yourself a nice white trick, go to Twitch. Twitch, like simping is part of the culture on Twitch in a way that it's not anywhere else. Like they not only don't judge simping, it's like considered uncool not to simp. Like it's a safe space for simping. I was on Twitch and it was recommending like these different people, and I clicked on various girls. I guess they're like e-girls, right? Because I was looking for like political talk, and the amount of simping there is insane. Like a girl will just be like, "Oh my god, my poodle just threw up," and then everyone's like, "Queen, $50." I was like, "Wow,
wow." Well,
no,
I'd be lying if I said guys didn't simp online sometimes, but I would definitely. Haven't had it on Twitch. Although, by the way, guys, I am on
Mhm.
Twitch now, and I'm trying to build my following. If I get enough followers, I will start streaming on there as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, so I'm telling you, if you want like the simp, man, to go to Twitch and no,
I
no.
mean,
Someone said YouTube has its own simp subculture, but I'm telling you, it's nothing like Twitch. Like Twitch is like simping is a lifestyle on Twitch. You can.
well, I think also see if I say it, let me not say it, because I'm gonna get all the gamers mad at me again. I'm good. Let me not say that. But I did see someone say they were like, no, Madam C.J. Walker. And let me tell you something that was really interesting about that. My brother actually put me onto a really dope book called Black Fortunes. It's about like six entrepreneurs and Black entrepreneurs in history who were, created wealth and did other things or whatever. And Madam C.J. Walker's in that book. But in that book, they actually highlight the person she stole from, which was Anne Turnbull Malone. Madam C.J. Walker was not nearly as wealthy as she claimed. A lot of the information that people got about Madam C.J. Walker came from her obituary written by her relatives. So it wasn't actually factual information. Anne Turnbull Malone, on the other hand, actually had an international company, was more successful than Walker. We've never heard her name.
Why is she so forgotten? Do you have any theories? Because I didn't hear about her until the controversy over the Netflix.
Yeah, so I didn't hear of her until I was researching for one of my old podcasts. Because at the end of every podcast, I did like a highlight of women who are entrepreneurs in history or whatever, and I discovered Annie Turnbull Malone. I think part of the problem is that Madam C.J. Walker's family fought really hard to create that legacy, and they just kept her name in there. Plus, Madam C.J. Walker was more famous because she was the forefront, so she had a big ego. So she was just like her pictures on the front of all her packages. She was
like Oprah,
flamboyant. So she was known for like wearing the furs and trying to stunt. Basically, wanted to stunt on white people all the time. Yeah. Annie was a chemist, so she actually created her products using chemistry, and she's the one who discovered that a lot of the Black products were using alcohol, which was drying to us. So she discovered a lot of those things because she's a chemist. And then she created her own chemical plant. She had her own sales agents on like basically everything she did. In fact, Madam C.J. Walker was one of her sales agents.
I had a recent podcast and I was talking about the skills versus shills paradox. And it's the same thing where I was saying that to shill or to do politics or to, be big or famous is its own kind of skill, and it's the kind of skill set that actually doesn't leave a lot of room to actually get good. But the people who actually know their shit are the opposite. They're too busy doing the work to do all the shilling and stuff, and that seems like it's an old story because that's what you just described. So she's the actual chemist. She's the one who actually is figuring stuff out. But Madam C.J. Walker would be like the modern version of like a influencer in a way. She just knows how to get her name out there, and sadly that works, man. A lot of people, those people will do better because when they'll do better, they can always steal the information. Like if I'm someone working on the skills, I can't just steal your clout. But if I'm somebody working on the clout, I can just steal your work, you know what I mean? So I think just a lot of those people, it's not even worth doing the work. They'll just steal it from someone else or pay someone else to do it. You know what I mean? Like the brand stuff is harder to them.
Yeah, I'm sliding in a rolling chair, so I'm like sliding by accident. So forgive me if I'm moving around a lot. But no, you're absolutely right, and I think that's the important part of documenting your stuff. I remember back in the day, people were clowning. This is before Beyonce was. Well, Beyonce was big then, but she's like super huge now. But like, I think it was like around the time her first solo project came out and people were talking shit about her because she had a library. Her family had already started a library and an archive of literally everything she's ever done. So they have a whole archive library with clips of everything she's ever done. People thought that was real egotistical, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I totally understand that. If you're trying to build a legacy and you want to have control of that, you have to be able to keep and document everything. And I don't think there was anything wrong with that at all. And I could see why, especially listening to this story, why that would be important, that you document your shit. Because if you don't, nobody else will.
Somebody in the chat said that I'm jealous of your simps, but I'm like, hey, Venus simps still come here, so I'm happy. As long as they come here, why would I be jealous of her Sims? I just want the numbers, man. I want her to bring all the Sims with her that she can.
I don't think I don't think I have Sims, because if I had Sims, my Cash App would be totally full right now.
Yeah.
I do not,
No. See, but you don't self promote. You don't have the shill mindset. Like you gotta have the Cash App written on your forehead. Just have it hanging up all the time.
Yeah, I have to put it in my bio. Just saying like, hey, here's my cat. But I feel like that's just kind of corny. But I guess it works.
See, that's your problem, man. You got too much principle, man. You got to have no principles at all. That's how you shill. You just start on OnlyFans and have nothing on it. Just talk theory, read books, and then people find out too late. Like that girl who, you see that celebrity that did an OnlyFans, and then she was fully clothed. She didn't have anything sexual.
Bella Thorne, and they
have an OnlyFans, and when people go on it, it's just all woke stuff. You just talk about politics and stuff. People won't cancel. People will stay on it.
I actually had an idea back in the day. Now I'm not the sex person, so this is probably the most sex confidence you'll ever get out of me. Yeah. But I did have this idea. And maybe somebody could take this idea. I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Of having pro-black porn.
I think that would work.
There are guys who are legitimately turned on by pro-black women.
Yeah.
So I could see that just women with afros and this red, black, and green background. I don't know.
But okay. I think the problem is a lot of those type of women, I don't think would want to do it. So you probably have to get someone to cosplay as that. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't think people will care. I think it would.
I don't think you're right, because I think there are a lot of I don't know what to call them, but there are definitely women who are very, you ever see Girlfriends?
Yeah.
Think about women like Lynn from Girlfriends. Into all the sex, looking at sex almost like a spirituality almost.
I guess because Lynn, I didn't really think of as pro-black. I thought of her as
I just think her character, not really her pro-black. I don't think she's pro-black, but
okay,
it's that sort of that they're into maybe crystals and shit and oils.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Those Kundalini type incense.
Yeah. They study the Kama Sutra and shit. So, and they look at sex as a spiritual connection. I'm sure they would love to be in something like that. They get paid for it. Oh, yeah,
it's true. Mattress on the floor Twitter would really line up to be on that. It would be for sure. I think. Yeah. Someone said Lynn wasn't pretty to me. You know what's funny with Lynn? What did she do to her face? The first half of that show and the second half, she did something dramatic to her face. And I don't know what it is.
Really?
Does anyone know what I'm talking about? I'm
actually rewatching Girlfriends now, which is why I was able to come up with Lynn. Yeah. But so I've been rewatching it. So I think I'm at third or fourth season now. I think my third season.
She had this whole different face and jaw. Look at one of the first season episodes, then jump to the last season, and you'll see it's something she did. I don't know. She got braces, did something with her jaw. Her whole face is different, and I'm not sure what's going on there.
Let me look her up.
Yeah, maybe you can even find a picture of before and after. No one's been able to figure out what she did.
A little whiter.
Yeah, but her whole jaw is different. Too. Her teeth are different. She had these kind of buck teeth, and
she got narrower. She just into her chin to make it. Look at her now pictures.
Oh, I haven't seen her now. I'm talking about when the show was on the air. So who knows what she did now? She looks very different now.
Well, she just looks white.
Oh, okay.
But I can't. I have to look when I finish it.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot of people are discovering that show. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I watched it when it was out, but I just went back to it.
One thing that I usually don't like when young people discover those old shows, because the commentary is really obnoxious. But I think that's one show where I think the young people have a better take on it than the old people. Everyone talks about why is everyone so mean to each other. I think there's something true about that. There's something toxic about the friendships on that show.
But actually, so it's funny watching it now and watching it all together, because I binge watch it at work.
Yeah.
But I think they're right, but that's the point of the story, actually. So if you watch the whole show, they're really talking about their relationships with each other and really learning how to find out about themselves. So like the first relationship between Joan and Tony is extremely toxic. It's a narcissistic, codependent relationship that I always talk about on here. It's basically textbook that. Whoever wrote that show literally wrote the characters perfectly to fit that. So that was no accident. And then if you notice the show in both in the first season, second season, third season, it's about Joan's growth. So Joan goes from being the codependent to starting to stand up for herself to being someone who's not taking Tony's shit anymore.
Yeah.
And then the other characters start to enhance as well. Now the other thing is that they make it a point to show that that a lot of their snide remarks are jokes. So they make sure that that's also clear by pointing out in other situations that when they try to be girlfriends with other people, it doesn't work the same way. And then they go back to their friends. Okay, now we're back to the talking shit and joking thing. And then they also highlight multiple times. I've noticed they highlight, yeah, you guys joke about blah 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 blah, meaning that those mean things that we heard before were clearly jokes. So I think they're right. It is mean, but when you look at it, I think it's really well written.
I think it's very well written too. I think that woman's very talented, but I do think the second half of the show, particularly after William starts dating Joan, then they split.
Yeah.
Then it just got mean-spirited for the sake of mean-spirited. I feel like it was mean-spirited with a point in the first half, but I suspect she stopped writing for the show actively. That woman, I forgot the name of the creator of that show. Mara Brock Akil. Yeah, I think she stopped actively writing, and I think the people who were writing instead were trying to capture her voice but couldn't do it. In my thing. So the later seasons, I felt like just kind of got mean-spirited without a point, especially once Tony left, because then because I felt that was kind of like Tony's job to do that, and when she was gone, it's in the video.
Didn't they try to make Monica more?
Yeah, they tried to bring her in as like the fake Tony, and it didn't really work.
It didn't work because her whole thing was different than Tony.
Yeah, and I like that woman too. I think that lady is a great actress. I
love Monica. Let me tell you something.
Yeah,
I think she's a bitch, but I love her on that show because she's one of the few people I thought had like a really strict vision.
Yeah,
and was like, nope, this is what we're doing. And I think because her way she comes across, of course, kind of bitchy the way she did it. But I think she really was trying to help William position himself because he didn't know what he was just flopping around. But in fact, his boss was talking shit to him, like, you're not taking care of your shit. And so she was like, okay, let me tell you how you do this. And so I loved her for that. But
so go on.
I was gonna say I agree with you that they tried to make her the fake Tony, and that shit was trash.
They should have figured out what was unique about her instead of trying to like because they're trying to force her to become a friend with them, and it wasn't working. You know? Yeah,
it didn't work at all.
Yeah, it didn't work. You know what I liked about the Monica storyline, and that you're right, that was some good writing. There's a lot of women who think that they're holding a guy down just by physically being there while he's in a bad place, but that's not what holding down means. Because sometimes someone thinks they're holding you down, but they're actually holding you down, like as in physically holding you down and keeping you from growing. Like, it's not just enough to just tolerate somebody when they're not reaching their full potential, because some people even deep down like when you're not reaching your full potential because they're afraid if you upgrade, you're gonna turn them in for someone else and upgrade them. But there's a certain type of confidence someone has to have to actually want you to be the best you that they can be and still be confident enough that you're going to keep them in the picture afterwards. And also, this is, I think, the big irony of it is people don't realize that when you do actually help somebody upgrade and reach their full potential, they're actually less likely to trade you in. Like most of the people whose partners have really had a big effect in helping them reach their full potential, like those are those relationships. Like Stephen King's wife is a great example. Stephen King's wife did so much stuff. Like she fished out manuscripts of his out of the trash and sent them to publishers, and sold the story. He was like, "Oh, this is garbage. It's not going to work." He took a job that was like they were like on public benefits and barely making ends meet and had a kid, and he landed a steady job as an English teacher, and it wasn't going to be great pay, but it was going to be more pay than they ever had, and they would be able to get off like public benefits and stuff like that. And then he came home and he's like, guess what, I got a job as an English teacher. And then she was like, well, when are you going to have time to write? And he was like, well, I guess I'm not. And she goes, well, then you can't take the job. Wow. If you can't write, then you're not going to take the job. Like she believed in his vision that much. And I feel like a lot of people will be like, oh, I held down X. And this is like a gender neutral thing. Like I think
gender neutral.
Yeah, men, because men, will say the same thing. I held this person down when they were going through and making it big. But it's like, yeah, what were you doing? Were you just saying, when are you gonna get a real job? When are you gonna get a real job? Like, like were you actively, yeah.
And you know what? First of all, let's give a shout out to Rock the Mic. The Sunday night show has to be a thing moving forward. I'm not against that, actually.
Yeah, I'm not against it either. Yeah.
And I'm usually out this way in this office around then, so I can, it's a little bit better for me. So I'm down if we can do it. Next Sunday I can't though. It's my sister's birthday.
Okay, happy birthday to your sister. Well, we'll do it in your spirit. Thanks to Triple Rock for the donation. Thanks also. I missed the last
Mike before.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Oh, and the after that is my birthday, so I probably won't.
Oh, it is. Oh, happy birthday in advance. Yes, yeah, Denzel. I heard that about Denzel's wife too. That she was very supportive of.
He cheated on her.
Oh, you did? Oh, maybe it's a bad example.
For a fact, he cheated on her. But that's a whole. I probably shouldn't tell him.
Oh, so you know what? Maybe it's a bad example. but you know what? He didn't leave. So.
I mean, well, it is what it is. But I was going to say also, one of the things I hate about TV shows is when they make friend characters become couples.
Yeah.
Because honestly, especially when you're a friend for that long, you probably aren't sexually attracted to them. So I think that's just always weird to me.
It's always fake.
They did that on Moesha, and I just stopped watching it after that. After Hakeem and Brandy started liking it, not Brandy.
Oh, no. Really?
It was weird. Yeah, I like that. I hate that.
Yeah, I hate it too.
Like you go.
I wasn't a fan of this show, but I knew what was going on because I had friends that watched it, and the show Friends, I heard, did that. Like 2 of the friends, after like 8 seasons, one of them realizes he's in love with the other one. It's like, get out of here! Like. You had no idea if you were attracted to this person or not until.
Right. And they tried to write it in like apparently Monica and him had fucked at some point. She lost her virginity to him or whatever. I don't know. I just kind of felt like, it was one of those things. It was weird. I don't like when friends on shows become couples because it's just it's awkward. And that's not how I got used to you guys. And I always thought that shit was. But when that happened with Will and William and Joan.
Yeah.
Like, it got so disgusting for me. It made it even worse.
I felt like watching brothers and sisters. I felt like watching a brother and sister kiss. It was very weird.
Exactly what it feels like. Mostly also because William and Joan, they're not a match. They're not a match. Like the type of man he was not the kind of guy that I think Joan would be attracted to.
Yeah, and vice versa too. I felt like she was too messy. For him.
Really. So Joan was not an aggressive woman. He clearly, Yvonne was aggressive. Monica was aggressive.
Yeah, and Monica was good. I think Sean
shooting at people's doors, shooting aiming guns at people.
Yeah,
that's a crazy shit. But
I think Sean Breezy.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh no, I was saying thanks to Sean Breezy. He said that he just signed up for the Patreon.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Appreciate that.
I'm sorry, you were saying?
Yeah. Rock the Mic, Moesha does not have an I in it, but I had to just say that because so Moesha was my shit, much like how I talk about Insecure. Moesha even more so was like South Central black girl. That was just my shit. Everything about that shit, because there's so much shit in that show. If you're not from LA, or at least particularly South Central LA, you don't even understand what you're looking at. Which I love shit like that because it's like an inside secret.
One thing I didn't like about Moesha, but looking back, I think I could probably appreciate it. They used to have weird endings sometimes. They were willing to end the show weird. Like,
Like what?
like there was one episode when Ray, this is the only example I can remember, but there were definitely more where it would end and you would like scratch your head. But looking back, I'm like, I can kind of appreciate that they were willing to just end things weird. That episode where Ray J was accused of stealing from them. You remember this one? Then it turned out he really did steal. And it just ended with it turning out that he actually stole from the Mauritius family. And that's how it ended. There was
I don't
no
even
lesson
remember.
learned. Yeah.
But what got crazy on that show though is they made Ray J, instead of being the nephew, he ended up being Frank's son that his sister raised for him because he had a child outside of while he was separated from his Moesha's mom.
Oh, that's messy.
It was so ridiculous. And on top
Yeah.
of that, it did not fit the character. Frank was super like straight-laced. So it just made no sense that he's going to have this outside child. That's actually the reason why the two characters, the parents actually left. So Shirley Ralph left because of that. She said,
really?
Because she said, why would you take, you finally have a strong black male father figure and you bring in baby mama drama and you bring in, you know what I'm saying? You bring in this other shit, like he's not as fine, upsetting father. And the whole show, you're watching this guy who's, he's a man who's at one point was a single father, has a wife who's trying to fill a role as a stepmother while raising two kids, and especially a teenage daughter at a tough time. It's like, you don't have this vision of this guy stepping out on his wife and having kids out of wedlock and then sneaking them lying about it, sneaking them into your house, pretending he's your nephew.
Yeah, that's bad. Why would do that? I felt that way with my wife and kids too. When Junior got a girl pregnant as a teenager, and I was like, why did they even do this? It was like working that trope.
I didn't like that either. And I'm not saying every black family on TV shows have to be like these perfect families, but to me, it has to make sense with the
organic to it,
the story and what exactly is the point. You know what I mean? So
thank you, Sound Info.
But let me see. Didn't at the end of the series Miles got abducted? He did. I don't remember the end because, like I said, I kind of stopped watching once they went to college. Really, actually, I stopped watching when Hakeem started looking at Brandy different. I literally just stopped watching. Did
Hakeem go over to the Parkers or no?
I was into the Parkers a little bit, but
did Hakeem travel to the Parkers or did he stay on Moesha?
No. He stayed on Moesha. He did go to the character went to Santa Monica College like Kim did, but he was never in the show. But
I totally agree with this right away.
The show outside of this writing was bad. It was more slapstick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with this right away. That on My Wife and Kids, he was a little too mean, especially to the son. He was like really cruel to the son. Yeah, that's very weird.
I hated how they wrote. That's probably the thing that I hated the most was how they wrote the son. It was something my dad told me a long time ago, and he was pointing out something in TV shows. He said, "Notice that in black TV shows, that it's not uncommon to make the son slow or bad at school."
Yeah, you're right.
So one of the examples he gave me he gave me a couple examples, but the one I remember was Theo on the Cosby Show. And if you remember, they actually changed his character because at first he was just a bad student. And he was like the joke, he was just as bad as someone was a bad student. Eventually they changed it to he had a learning disability. And then he became a college graduate once all that was taken care of. But in the beginning, he was like this dumb kid who was just goofy and made stupid decisions, whereas the sisters were smart.
Yeah, in general, I felt the show tried to pander a little too hard to women sometimes, to where it got a little corny, because they did that a little bit with Cliff too, where Cliff was always being corrected by Claire all the time, and he would remember something one way and tell a story, and she'd come around and be like, "Here's what actually happened, kids," and he did this, and they did this. So I felt like Theo and Cliff were, I guess, kind of meant to parallel in that response, like they were both, but it didn't ruin the show for me. But I did notice there was a little bit of the guys wouldn't know how to wipe their ass without the women in the family. With the one exception maybe being Lisa Bonet. I felt Lisa Bonet was kind of the only scatterbrain girl in the show.
And but her character was mostly that she was lazy.
Oh yeah.
Her character was lazy as hell.
You remember this show, South Central?
I do Slightly. See, I didn't really care for shows like that growing up because when you live in that shit, it's
Yeah.
not what you want to see. So growing up, actually, a lot of shit I didn't watch till I was older, or I only watched parts of it as a kid because it scared me too much. Like Menace to Society scared me. Boys in the Hood scared me a lot as a kid. Like I was really scared of that movie. So yeah, so certain TV shows and shit I didn't really get into because it was a little heavy.
Yeah, but Boys in the Hood ages surprisingly well. I was shocked at how well it ages. Like growing up, because of the whole New York, LA, like East Coast, West Coast type of rivalry. The two movies they used to always be kind of compared were New Jack City and Boys in the Hood, and I watched both of them in the pandemic, and I gotta say, LA won that one. Like I like New Jack City, but it does not age as well as Boys in the Hood at all.
But you know what's interesting? New Jack City was the movie I watched when I was in a program where it was like a 2-week public policy academy. It was really that's what we said on paper. It was really just like a little revolutionary boot camp. And so one of the things we watched was New Jack City to learn about. That's like the beginning of us learning about the crack epidemic. It's like that's what I was learning in this program. We're watching like New Jack City, then like analyzing the crack epidemic.
It was a fun movie, but it's so cartoonish, man.
Oh, it's definitely, but it has classic lines and it has.
Oh, it does. It's entertaining.
Like, you know how many movies are bad once you watch them as an adult? Like what's another example? It's so hard when you're trying to show it to somebody who's younger and they don't get it. Like The Last Dragon. That's a terrible movie, but it's a great movie.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a great. But you know what? It's kind of self-aware in its badness, and you can always appreciate that. Like it's just having fun with itself. Mario Lewis said Baby Boy is the greatest unintentional comedy of all time. I disagree. I like Baby Boy straight up. I think that's one of the best movies. I feel like Baby Boy in a way ages better than Boys in the Hood in the idea that I think a lot of people were worried that Boys in the Hood was going to be like the permanent future, and it actually wasn't. Like you look at it now where it almost looks kind of quaint, but Baby Boy I think predicted the internet fuckboy and predicted the future way better than Boys in the Hood.
Think it was future. I think that was the thing. It was so present. It was the funniest thing about that was the little bicycle. For some reason, the bicycle was the funniest shit to me because you used to see niggas in the hood on little kid bicycles all the time. So like in that whole mentality, that none of that shit's new. I just think it looks new because it's so much of it online. I want to say it looks new. It's just so present and we have so much access to it. But all that shit, like, you know, just being very infantile in how you
But I think everything it predicted as amplified. So it's like it was
amplified.
Yeah, it's amplified. Kenny and I were talking about that's one of the few movies that I think if they brought it back for a reboot or a TV show, you could actually go further with it. Like it would warrant it, because if Baby Boy had the internet, he wouldn't even been doing the hustling he was doing. He would have really regressed. If he had the internet, like at least Baby Boy had to leave the house to hustle and, you know, get laid and stuff, but he would just be sliding in DMs. He would probably turn into an incel. Like we were saying, he would probably become an incel if like not having the internet like we have it today in social media, I think saved him, you know.
Someone said Candyman was a terrible movie too. I've never seen Candyman. I'm not into horror movies. I think 99.9% of horror movies are terrible. I've never seen a good one.
Oh wow, strong words.
Unless the only one I could say that was good was Benicio del Toro's El Orfanato, or The Orphanage.
Okay.
But I've never seen Candyman. I heard about it and it sounds pretty ridiculous. Isn't he like, I don't know, something about a white bitch? That's all I remember.
Yeah. He's got some kind of issue with he lost it all over a white girl. And I don't think it was even reciprocated. I think he was just thirsty. He was just thirsty for this white girl and he got lynched over it or something. Like it's not the best origin story on earth. And I think they're bringing it back, but they're trying to change some of that. But yeah, basically, he was just thirsty for a white lady and got killed or something. And I think I don't remember this part of Baby Boy, but if this happened, then you're right. That is actually kind of funny. Melvin punched Jody so hard the mother fell down. I don't remember that part.
I have to watch it again to see if I catch that. Somebody said something about Lena Waithe doing something, and I saw that, and I just could not let that slide. No, she's not doing anything. I don't think she does anything well. Like you have to show me one thing she's done that was good.
I don't even want to see Lena Waithe do the Lena Waithe story. I won't even trust her with that. I don't want to see her do anything.
After I found out, so I was like, rooting for Lena Waithe initially. Actually, most people don't know, I actually interviewed Lena Waithe years ago, back when Dear White People was coming out. I interviewed the whole team that put that show together when they were raising money.
Was she involved in it?
She was in the movie, yeah. So when they were the film Dear White People, she was one of the producers, I believe. And so I was interviewing that whole team, and it was interesting listening to them and interviewing them, and why they created Dear White People. But the thing is, Lena Waithe is not nearly as political as I think they're trying to promote her as.
Oh no, she's a climber.
I don't think she's LGBTQ. I don't think she has any politics whatsoever.
Wait. You said you don't think she is LGBTQ?
I think she's pro LGBTQ.
Oh, I thought you said she was pretending to be gay.
No.
I was like, that's a harsh, accusation. Even though that's gonna happen soon, where people gonna start pretending. There's one girl in Black Lives Matter who's not queer, who lets everyone think that she's queer. So they always say 3 Black queer women, and one of them is actually like kind of low-key straight. And this activist told me that in the recent episode we talked with the Ferguson activist, and he was like, yeah, they're not even all 3 queer women, only 2 of them are. One of them is just straight, like stealing LGBTQ valor. And I was like, okay, this has to be conspiratorial. Then I looked it up, and he was right.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, if you look, some articles come out where if you ask her point blank, she'll admit that she's not queer, but if you don't ask her straight up, she'll let you think she's queer and call her queer.
But what I was going to say about Lena Waithe, though, is my issue with her is that she tried to portray herself, and her handlers try to portray her as being sort of this progressive figure in media. I mean, I guess because she's a Black woman lesbian. But the reality is she's not. And it was made very clear to me when I found out she was one of the producers, or one of the creators or producers of Stepsisters, which is basically this Black girl has to teach this white sorority, Black sorority steps. And
that's on Netflix, right? Or something?
It might be. I think it was on Netflix. So that was one of her shows. And then I saw Queen and Slim, which is an awful movie. The only thing good about that movie was the cinematography. Anything outside the cinematography was awful. Like, the story made no sense.
Have you read the screenplay?
No.
The screenplay.
I watched the movie.
The screenplay is amazing, in a bad way. Like, it should be taught in film school for how not to do a screenplay. It's so bad. But something that was interesting that I heard, that's supposedly an open secret. Supposedly, and I don't know if this is true, they admit that this guy brought the story to her. This is the story that they gave. The guy who wrote that book, James Frey, that went on Oprah and was an Oprah book choice thing, A Million Little Pieces or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it turned out to be fake. He was discredited, and Oprah brought him out as a liar and kind of beat him up on the air and stuff, and humiliated him. But supposedly the story is, and what Lena Waithe says, is that James Fry, that's his name, brought the story to her, and then she went and ran with it and did the screenplay and everything. So the credits say story by James Frey, screenplay by Lena Waithe. But what some people in the industry told me and said it's an open secret is that supposedly he wrote the whole screenplay. It wasn't just he had the idea and he brought it to her and then she wrote it. He wrote the whole screenplay, but I guess his name was a little bit toxic. Well, first, he's a white guy. He didn't want to have
Black stories. So
Yeah, so a white guy telling the black story would be bad enough, but also he has a bad rap. So she basically sold her name to be put on it, supposedly. And the story, allegedly, is that she actually didn't even do the screenplay. It's all. And if that's true, then that's even extra. I mean, there's no good story there. Either she wrote that screenplay.
So I actually heard that original story, and then I actually heard like that this because I read it somewhere, wherever one of her interviews or some shit, and then the original story. But then what you just said is something I heard before, but because I don't really care that much about Queen and Slim or Lena Waithe, I kind of just go whatever. But I have heard that before that this guy actually wrote it. But again, that wouldn't even surprise me.
Yeah, this story.
What people think.
This story up here is a story that they gave, but people I know in the industry claim that it's an open secret that that's not really what happened. And like BL says,
story. If you pay attention to that story, like that's why I hated the movie, because there was nothing political about it. It made no sense whatsoever. You could tell it was written by people who had no sense of social justice background at all. They didn't even consult with anyone, which is very clear.
Yeah.
Because there was so many, because no one could, like, for example, there's no reason why people are cheering on these guys running from the police. It wasn't like there was some sort of activists or they're martyrs or something. Like they pretty much just killed these cops and were on the run, as far as the story that people knew.
Yeah, that movie feels like they cut half hour out of it somewhere that would have made it make more sense.
And then on top of that, every cop that they encountered was a good cop that was nice to them. That was the other thing that was interesting.
Yeah,
so like
weird.
Cop that let them leave the garage, or like little cops that let them, a lot of that shit didn't make any sense. Then the kid holding the gun to the cop, all that shit was just, it made no sense.
Here, let me show you some great stuff from this wonderful screenplay. Like, there's no winning here. Either Lena Waithe just sold her name and let it be put on garbage, or she actually wrote this thing. And I don't know which would be the worst truth. But here we go. Queen and Slim, screenplay by Lena Waithe, story by James Frey and Lena Waithe, and supposedly really all of it by James Frey. But I mean, here we go. Interior, diner, night one, somewhere in Ohio. We're in the kind of place that feels like everyone should know your name, but they don't. Families frequent this spot when they've fallen on hard times. It's practically empty on this boring Thursday. Servers drop off hot plates while elderly people sip cheap coffee at the counter. Our focus is directed toward a black man and a black woman sitting in a small booth in the back. The man has a slender frame and a laid-back demeanor. He's not a fan of rocking the boat or ruffling feathers, but he ain't no punk either. For the purpose of the story, we'll call him Slim. The woman, she's regal as fuck. She's not an easy laugh, and she's always waiting for the other shoe to drop. For the purposes of the story, we'll call her Queen. And it's like, that's not how screenplays are supposed to be written. Like, he ain't no punk. She's regal as fuck.
An awful. This is awful. This is
it's awful. It's like fan fiction.
Being a punk isn't even a description. I'm supposed to describe the characteristics.
Yeah, and not just
that would make someone not a punk.
Yeah, and screenplays are supposed to be visual. They're not really supposed to put in that much. Like, they're not novels, I
was gonna ask that too. I said, isn't that usually like something you talk to the actor about?
Yeah, exactly. Or you try to reveal the character through action and dialogue. Like, you're not supposed to put all that stuff in the actual.
That's a pet peeve of mine in shows and movies. When you tell me things in dialogue as opposed to letting me see it in the movie. That's like don't be just plays, like really bad plays do that a lot. But I at least understand it in a play, especially when you're just using one set and it's limited or whatever. But in a movie, you have time to show me this character. Don't tell me. It's like going on a date and somebody tells you, "Oh, I'm such a great person. I'm so caring and I'm nice." Okay, just when I get to know you, I'll see those characteristics in you as I get to know you. Just telling me these things means nothing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to hear that shit. Just show me.
Yeah, and I feel like too the way that they're trying. Another way you could tell it's written by a white guy is that there's this trend among like white liberals now where um, I'm stealing this from someone else, but someone said, "Why do white liberals talk about black women like pets on Reddit site Aw?" There's a site on Reddit called Aw, AWWW, and they put all these cute pets on, and then people are like, "Oh, look at how cute that little pet is and stuff." And someone was talking about why do white liberals keep talking to black women like they're cute pets, and that's how I feel this thing is. This whole like she doesn't suffer fools lightly, and we call her queen. I'm like, okay, this is some weird simping white guy who wrote this for
Yeah.
sure. This does not seem like a black person writing about black people, and if it is, then that's even more worrisome.
I was gonna say, honestly, with the way Lena does things, that wouldn't even surprise me. Even in Master of None, there were multiple scenes where I was like, "What, girl?" Like multiple times. And I actually like Master of None. I think it's a really funny show. Although I had a few issues with the last season. I feel like he was trying too hard. Like he clearly has a thing for white women, and he tries too hard to make it like he doesn't, and like he respects black women or some shit. That shit was corny. I Sound Info says you guys.
Sorry, going. Oh yeah, you were saying I Sound Info says what?
You guys do heavy duty watching, reading, whack stuff. Hats off. I couldn't do it. I don't know what that means. What is heavy duty watching? Because I'm not even. T probably watches way more than I do because he's on top of shit.
Yeah, I'm guilty.
I'm not even a movie person like that, so I
Yeah,
don't.
she's not. That's more to me for sure.
So, yeah, like I don't know what you mean. So I don't do no heavy duty watching.
Well, also, I don't think all this stuff is whack. Like, I like Master of None too. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I think that's a funny show.
Yeah. I watch more stuff I like than I don't like. But sometimes I'll watch something like I watched Lovecraft Country, but the last 3 episodes I stopped myself because I'm like, this is only gonna get worse. There was an Emmett Till episode.
I was gonna watch it if we were gonna talk about it, but then you guys said I was like, everybody shitted on it, so I kind of didn't really want to watch it. And I already don't like sci-fi. I don't like sci-fi or fantasy and shit like that. But I'm willing to get past it if it's a good enough show. Like Game of Thrones was fantasy, but it was a well-written enough show for me to get into it. But it takes a lot sometimes for me to get into a show like that. So that's the reason I didn't watch it. But then everybody started shitting on it, and I was like, I'm definitely not going to watch it because it doesn't sound like it was that good, to be real. What's something else I was going to say? It's another show. I forgot. I can't think of it. But I watch old shit. So if you go, unless this is something I need to be watching, something I think is really, really interesting. I mostly watch, I go on Netflix, I go on Hulu, I go on Amazon. Now there's IMDb. I go on there and I watch Little House on the Prairie. I watch the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Like these are the shows I watch.
Yeah.
So, and Andy Griffith Show and shit like that.
Oh, Andy Griffith, that's interesting because I can never get into that one. Like I can tell it's good, but
I was raised in a very religious household, so
okay.
And we didn't have cable, so you kind of just watched what you had access to. And Andy Griffith shows come on every day, so I used to watch.
There's some. I'm trying to find some more bad stuff from. There's more bad stuff in this screenplay, but I don't want to like. There's one particular thing I really want to find. It's really over the top. Like they describe her in such a fetishistic way that it adds to the idea to me that a white guy wrote it. And I'm trying to find the fetishy stuff that it wrote about Queen. Like half the time it's either trying to be really patronizing to her or it's sexualizing her in a very female mandingo way, and it just really and like you said, Lena Waithe is weird enough that she might actually really do that herself as well. Like I can't put it past, because I feel like she looks at black people with a white eye, if that makes sense.
Ernest T. Bass. That's one of my favorite characters too. And you don't know, if you don't watch Andy Griffith, you don't know what we're talking about.
Oh no, I don't know.
How do you do, Mrs. Wiley? Anyway.
Now you got me curious to try it. That show was on a long time too. Like
white as fuck. I won't lie to you, it's white as fuck. It's like the whitest show ever. But
yeah, but it's good is good.
The characters are funny. Like the different people in the town and shit are funny.
Yeah, I can't find the worst part of this screenplay, but I'll put it like this. The screenplay was so bad for like 3 days on Twitter. People were like, there's a hashtag like Lena Waite screenplay, and people were just trying to do the best impression of the screenplay, and people were writing stuff like she walked in with the strength of a slave, and she came. People were cutting up. It was really funny. It was really weirdly fetishizing. It was really funny when people were putting it.
That's fucked up. I wanted to just point out what iSound Info was saying. I'm glad we can agree on something like this because I feel alone in my Andy Griffith fandom. But you're right. That is kind of the whole point. That point of the show really is him showing what policing is supposed to look like. However, he's a conservative. Like he was not like a progressive guy by any means. But I mean, as far as the actual Andy Griffith, but the show itself was pretty much because he never used his gun. He didn't have to. In fact, which was pretty much never. He tried to, make things work for everybody. So I always liked that about that character. If only people could actually do that.
Were there any black people?
No, it was Andy Griffith show.
Oh, well, that's why. I mean, white people can get along pretty idyllically when there's no black people around.
Characters in as extras sometimes, but that was about it. And even then, that was like every once in a while. You know what show did have black characters in the 60s? The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know that. The thing I was saying about Andy Griffith is if like 3 or 4 black families moved into town, then Andy might have started pulling out his gun. He might have been like, "Wait, these guys are messing it up for everybody. What's going on?" You never know.
I see another comment here, and I wanted to. It's funny you said that's how a lot of policing used to be. Maybe, and I think, I know I've heard that in small black towns, that they had their own police. That was the case. Actually, I don't know about these other towns being policed by white people. That was the case. Yeah. But even in the small black towns, the cop that was there was usually under the jurisdiction of the white officers in the other town or whatever. So, that's interesting. I just wanted to point that out. Dick Van Dyke was weirdly woke for the time period. I would say I guess you could say that for the time, but it's not woke. It's got a lot of issues, but it's a funny show.
One thing I remember about the show, but I was young at the time, so maybe if I look at it now, it won't be this way. But I remember Mary Tyler Moore was kind of like a shrew. I think a shrill. I feel like they portrayed her pretty bad in Dick Van Dyke. Am I misremembering?
What is a shrill? What does that mean?
Oh, like somebody that's like has a shrill voice, is always like kind of whining or nagging, kind of, or like is really annoying to have around because she's always kind of henpecking you. I feel like I remember Mary Tyler Moore's character being kind of like annoying and shrill on Dick Van Dyke. That's probably the one unwoke thing.
She did the white woman cry thing a lot.
Yeah, she would do the white woman crying thing a lot. She had a lot of Karen energy. I feel like I remember.
Yeah, but I liked her.
It was still a good show, though.
I liked her character once I found out how young she was. She was like 23, 24 when she did that show. And I was like, okay, I can see a little, to me, all the 20-year-olds, I'm going to call you kids, but I'm just saying, I can see a 24, 5-year-old who's newly married. Now, mind you, she was like, I know the whole show, so I watched literally the entire series twice. But she was a dancer. They got married, like he was in the military. She was dancing in the military, some shit. Like they were really, really young. So I could see that character being that way. But you know what's funny is that show actually was a big hit amongst housewives and shit. And so initially her character was wearing skirts, and then she started wearing pants. And then they went back to skirts when they said, oh, well, most American women actually wear skirts still. Because remember at the time, women still weren't wearing pants like that.
Yeah.
But they started getting all these letters from women saying, like white women, I'm guessing, but all these women saying, hold on, like, where happened to our pants? We actually like the pants. We are going to be moving towards that anyway. Then they went back to wear pants on the show. It's really funny if you think about like something as simple as pants. But I guess if you think like, at the time, I guess pants were considered too masculine.
Yeah. How many seasons was the show on? I forget.
For Dick Van Dyke Show, maybe like six seasons,
Okay.
7 seasons, something like that. It was the character on there that's really interesting to me is Sally Rogers, because she's played by a lady named Anne Marie, I think was her name, or Rosemary. And I looked at this because I get high and I just want to Google shit. I Googled her and she was like a child star, like a big star. And I did not know, but she was like, it was so old. It was like almost the end of vaudeville era, I guess, when she was. But that was really fascinating. There's actually a documentary about her, but it's not out yet. I don't know why, but it sounds good.
I'll look that up. I'm always interested in stuff like that. I'm interested in people who are like a big deal in their day,
Me
and then
too.
people forget about them. You can see that in our lifetimes. There's some people like I remember when I was really young. This guy George Burns he was really old at the time, but he was really famous as a comedian.
I
And
remember.
yeah, they even had his sitcom used to rerun all the time at Nick and Night, and all this stuff. No one talks about George Burns anymore. Like I'm sure millennials and Gen Z has no idea who this guy is. Yeah, Sly's asking the right question. Why is there only 35 likes on this? There should be more likes. Yes.
I agree.
I took something off the screen by accident. You had a comment on. Was it important?
Oh, it was about the police?
Yeah. It's about policing that even in those days they were still locking up black people.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. Policing was pretty much that. That's what policing was. I guess I'm talking a lot about old white TV shows. I don't think they want to hear about us talking about old white TV shows because we're nerds.
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's my favorite old white TV show? You know which one doesn't age well is Different Strokes. That one is just
I can't take it. I can't take that. One other show I watch, but it still bothers me is Good Times. It's just so hard because, first of all, it's so depressing. It's a depressing ass show. Like every time they're about to have an opportunity, like it gets fucked up, and it's like, yo, this is so fucking depressing. Like, who wants to see this shit?
Somebody pointed out to me on Twitter, and it makes sense once they say it, but I just never noticed that Good Times was just a ripoff of Raising in the Sun, and so much stuff that happens in Good Time is Raising in the Sun, including like when they leave at the end to finally go to the suburbs. And I was like, wow, that's true. The whole thing is really just Raising in the Sun. And James wasn't as bad as the main character in Raising the Sun, but it was the same kind of thing about the black man kind of couldn't get a break.
That's the other thing. I don't think James was a good father. I'm sorry. People love James Evans as a good father, and I think that's because they like that strong male thing. But he was an asshole. He didn't listen to his kids. In fact, multiple times Michael would be right about something, the youngest kid, and he basically would bully him. Like the time when he didn't want to take the aptitude test, and they parents like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Yo, why the fuck? You're not even asking them why." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never thought James was a good father, but he was an asshole.
Florida wasn't a good mother either. I noticed after the fact. I thought she was a great mother too, but you're right. They weren't good. Florida would always kind of low-key sabotage the family too, and so would James. James was both of them were a mess.
Yeah, I didn't think they were good parents. I definitely that episode where Michael with the black Jesus was the episode I hated Florida. So when Flo did that shit pissed me off. And then, but just in general, I didn't think they were good parents. I thought they were assholes to their kids. And I don't like shows where parents, like somebody talk about My Wife and Kids. I'm not a big fan of black parents bullying their kids and people thinking that shit's funny. Because I think it's relatable for some of us, so we like it, or we think that's what family's supposed to look like. But a lot of that shit, if you look even at Good Times, a lot of that's just the result of them living in poverty and being traumatized for like however many decades.
But so many people like that. Like every time I see somebody abusing their kids on Twitter and all the black people chiming in, yep, that's how you do it. And then anyone that complains, soft. You're like, oh my God. Like when your kids don't want to call you, when they're when you're 70, like, you remember this. Yeah.
Yes, Good Times was a spinoff of Maude with B. Arthur from Golden Girls. Also, Maude was a spinoff of All in the Family. So just wanted to throw that out there. I
And
know a lot of old. Listen, I used to obsessively watch Nick at Night, so that's why I know this random.
yeah, there's a whole
My mother, she had cable, so I would watch Nick at Night all night. My dad didn't have cable, so I would have to just watch whatever old TV shows were on TV. So that's
there's
pretty
a
much.
whole there's a whole thing on the internet of people tracing who's in the same universe because a lot of TV shows have crossed over the years.
Oh
So,
yeah,
Maude and the Jeffersons both spun off of
All in the
All in
Family.
the Family, but then Good Times spun off from Maude. So technically, Good Times and the Jeffersons are in the same cinematic universe. That technically they could have met up, and I'm very disappointed
Oh,
they never crossed them over. If you think about it, they could have totally hung out.
I think weren't they all Norman Lear?
Yeah, they were all Norman Lear, and they all had like 1 degree of separation from All in the Family. Yeah, so
Yeah, so I also love spinoffs. Happy Days is another one that has a lot of spinoffs.
Golden Girls is a good one. That
Yeah.
one holds up, even though I heard the racial politics isn't that great
Oh,
on
it's
some of the
racist.
episodes.
I watch.
Yeah.
That's another one I watch on Hulu. It's racist as fuck. I mean, multiple times. It's so racist. It is like the thing that's so funny about it is they think it's a funny joke and then being progressive,
Mhm.
but it's like racist as hell.
I think because back then the big idea was, and this continued to the 2000s. Everybody thought the worst of racism was over, and it ended with the civil rights era, and that now racism was just a matter of impoliteness. It wasn't a real structural thing anymore. It wasn't a real endemic problem. It was about getting along with people. So as long as you knew somebody's heart was okay, you were supposed to be able to forgive the racism because racism is not a real thing anymore. It's just a handful of bad actors who haven't gotten the memo yet. And now we've gotten way too much evidence that things haven't changed that much. It's still a very real, very structural problem. And now those jokes I don't think hit as well anymore. That
those shows aid that exact thing. Like that's not an accident. I don't believe shit like that's an accident. All those shows were on message, right? So look at this 1970s, Little House on the Prairie. That's like one of my favorite shows. The thing about that show that I think I might have mentioned on here, that show is super racist while trying to be progressive, right? So all the indigenous people are played by white people while they're trying to show how non-racist the main family is. I was just watching an episode earlier today, and in the episode, there's a racist white guy who basically sabotaged all the other farmers because he just didn't want this one black farmer to make as much money as him off of some crop. So he sabotaged everybody. And then the whole town, though, is basically like, hey, it's this one racist guy in our town. Mind you,
bad apple.
Hundreds. This is like 1877 or some shit.
Yeah, so, if anything, there's probably only one non-racist guy, and they gave him a hard time and ran him out of town in real life, like not the other way around.
They make Charles Ingalls, who's like, that's the main character of the show. They make him, of course, a really nice, good-hearted Christian guy. The whole family, good-hearted Christian family. Yeah. Never discriminate. They're the ones who housed Todd Bridges when he ran away trying to sell himself as a slave. Because we know every poor farmer is going to give up free labor from a black child that runs into their farm.
Yeah, that show had a lot of presentism. To use Kenny's favorite word, that was a lot of presentism in that show, for real.
But my point was just that they do that for a reason. So it gives you this perspective, like, oh, the racist white people, they're fringe. That's not typical. The rest of us, we're fair. We don't believe in that racist shit. So it's really a way of brainwashing us into not seeing racism the way that we should. Vita, do you watch WKPR in Cincinnati? No, I do not. I used to come on and I would change the channel. It was one of those
shows.
Had
a great theme song, though. I like the theme song on it.
I just think it was, I don't know. I don't think I got into it. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. If it comes on again, I'd probably watch it. But at the time when I was a kid, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch that, and I didn't watch what's the other one? Barney Miller. I hated that show too.
You know what I liked about Barney Miller? Like, the humor of it was, I think, kind of old people humor, but it really looks as dirty as 70s New York. Like, they captured, I mean, the interior of the like I remember back then everything was just brown and dingy looking, and that show accurately looks like it. A lot of those 80s sitcoms set in New York don't really capture that level of film on everything, but I remember Barney Miller to me feeling real in that sense. But I agree with you. I couldn't really get the humor. The humor in it was here's one that everyone told me was really groundbreaking, and I tried it as an adult, thinking maybe it's because I was too young, but I still can't get into it. Is Hill Street Blues? Does anyone in the chat watch Hill Street Blues? I
I
heard.
haven't seen it since I was a kid. I don't even remember it. Like I think my mom watched it, and I think that's the only reason I remember it being on. But I don't think I ever watched it.
I keep wanting to try it, but I can never get into it. Yeah, Moonlighting with Bruce Willis was good, but it fell off hard because that was one of those will they or won't they shows. So they kept dragging out whether or not Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis were going to get together. But then what they did was they had them get together, and then everybody got happy. But instead of sticking with it, they kind of thought, oh, we have no idea how to write them as a couple. So let's break them up and redo the will they, won't they again for another season or two. And people were like, oh, we're not going to go through this shit again. And everyone just abandoned the show. They just made them break up for no reason. But at the time, that show was really, really popular. Oh, Taxi. Taxi was great.
Oh, that was my shit.
Great theme song, too.
And I was gonna say that episode of The Little House on the Prairie definitely fucked me up. And I think it turned out it was like the town blacksmith, right? Or some shit. It was a wild episode.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
A show like that would have something. It was the 70s again. And the kind of show it was, such a like family show. I'm surprised they even had that storyline at all.
Oh, I remember one thing that happened that was extra insulting. If it wasn't that episode, it was a different one where Mrs. Olsen, who was kind of like the busybody in town or something, she ended up being woke. Like she was supposed to be this awful person, but there's a racist in the town. It might be the same episode, might be the same guy, and that's just a bridge too far for her. So she ends up surprising everybody by telling him off for his racism. And then they did something that, if I remember correctly, she said that an N-word. I'm saying the N-word because I think we get demonetized for curses. He said N-word is something ignorant, and you, sir, are the real N-word here. I was like, oh God, like stop it.
Yeah, so that was the episode where they were opening the blind school, and they had allowed Black children, because what happened was the town they were in, there was a church that had the blind school where Mary and her husband were teaching and shit. Well, the church had to sell off a lot of their properties, and two schools got closed down, the Black blind school and the white one. So they combined them and took all the kids to Walnut Grove. So this racist white guy, who was the same one in the episode that I saw today, that I was telling you about, that sabotaged all the other farmers because he's a racist. He's like the town racist, right?
So they brought him back multiple times to be the town racist?
Oh, Mr. Larrabee, he's like an asshole like the entire series. Like he's an asshole.
Wow.
He's like the racist guy. But Mrs. Olsen was racist too, or is racist throughout the series. But that, like the last episode where you see her being like blatantly racist, because she befriends a little Black blind kid. She's because
she was racist in that episode.
Oh, she was racist the whole episode.
Oh, so what happened at the end? She learned the errors of her ways. That what happened?
Yeah, but at the end, she gets it. Because she befriends this little blind Black kid who likes her, who wants her. The whole thing is irritating. The Black kid who's blind spends the whole time trying to get Mrs. Olsen to like him because she's so mean, and he was just like, "Why doesn't she like me?" So the other Black character is like, "Oh, some people just can't see past skin color," you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah, I gotta find that episode. I gotta find that speech if you can, because that was pretty. That was a lot.
You know, I can get deep on almost any show I've ever seen. Probably because, so when I was a kid, my dad used to make us, whatever we watched on TV, my dad would literally sit us and like have us discuss and break down the racism. Whatever ism was in the show, we had to watch it and break it down. My dad being religious, though, we had to also look at the things that weren't Christian or whatever. But I would literally have to analyze TV shows since I was like 5. Like he would literally break down every single show I watched. If he watched it with me, he would ask me about it after. Me and my brother would have to have debates. My dad would set up debates between me and my brother. So over dinner, we're debating shit, politics and whatever we saw on TV or whatever. So you say that's dope. It's slightly dope. There's a lot of issues in that. I don't want to get into those in this episode, but my dad had a lot of issues. But I think it was helpful. So when I got to college, I was already ahead of the game. People are just now learning how to do that. It's like, oh my God, I didn't know these things were racist. Like, yeah, I knew they were racist because my dad had me break it down how it was racist before everybody else was talking about it being racist.
Oh, I found the episode. It's called Blind Journey, it seems.
Yeah. Because she took a journey with them to travel to the new school. Because she was paying for the school. She didn't know there would be Black kids coming in it. She thought Mrs. Terhune, who was running the Black school, was part of this wealthy Terhune family. And it turned out she wasn't. And she was Black. And Mrs. Olsen had a fit. So that's what that episode's about.
That's interesting because
Welcome Back, Kotter. Now that was my shit. And
that was pretty good.
Had very problematic, but it was clear these motherfuckers was grown as hell playing teenagers.
That was the thing back then, though. They didn't care. 90210 was the rate. It was the worst. Those dudes are old as hell.
These kids look like, they're too old. So I did think Welcome Back, Kotter was funny as hell. I thought when I was a kid, I used to love that show.
The thing that makes Welcome Back, Kotter a little more acceptable was back then, high schoolers looked old. I don't know why, but the 70s, I don't know if it was that recession time, but
well, they were in the hood, weren't they? Because he was going back to the hood to help the kids. Because that one crew was like a gang, what they call gangs in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
And, they were like all like these little sort of, I guess I would think the minority kids. So you had like the Jewish guy, I think one was Italian, Black guy. There's like the white guy. I guess he was Irish or some shit. I don't remember. But I thought that was really interesting how they did that. And then I just thought it was funny. It was one of those shows that I thought was just really funny because they were real dumb and they had like the most ignorant. I don't want to say hood logic, but it was kind of like they had this hood logic all the time.
Yeah. No, that was, and then that kind of shows you how like a lot of that stuff kind of transcends race because like now New York doesn't look like that, but Brooklyn, or if you look at things like Saturday Night Fever, like there were a lot of like poor white people in Brooklyn too, like or blue collar white people before they all left when the Black people showed up,
Yes.
But, yeah.
Colonel Coffee. Yes, that is true. And John Travolta was also in it.
Like there's this movie called Lords of Flatbush, and it has this like Italian version of Flatbush that's incomprehensible to me because I always grew up with Flatbush as a West Indian haven, and I feel like Welcome Back, Kotter was like that. It shows like an old New York that doesn't, in a couple of years, wasn't going to exist anymore. But here's one. Anyone remember The White Shadow? There was a show called The White Shadow. Yeah, I used to love The White Shadow.
I tried. You know what? Because it came on. So the way that show came on was when they were promoting TV Land before they had created. That's like they were just launching TV Land. So they would have all these marathons of shows that were going to be on now on TV Land because they didn't play White Shadow on Nick at Night until they were promoting it for TV Land. And that's how I started watching it. And I thought it was not that good.
but you probably saw it older. Like I saw it as a kid.
No, I was a kid. I wasn't older.
You were a kid? Okay. Oh, when I saw it, like I was a kid, and I remember I think I just liked that it had basketball in it. I got a feeling that it probably doesn't actually age well because looking back, there seemed to be some kind of problematic aspects of it. Like this white guy in charge of all these Black kids, and looking back, I'm pretty sure there's no way a 70s show is going to handle that well. But I remember it had a great theme song. Hold on, they find the theme song. I pray this theme song is as good as I remember it. I hope I don't go into it and then it's actually whack. But hold on, here's the theme song. They had this really funky kind of theme song. Actually, you know what? I take it back. That song's pretty bad. It's kind of smooth jazz.
Every opening of TV shows at that time.
It's kind of smooth jazz, not actually.
That's how a lot of.
Yeah, that sax was kind of cheesy. You know, my memory is playing tricks on me.
But it's okay because it's the nostalgia of it all,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah,
Welcome Back Cotter's theme was smashing that shit.
yeah. That was a good theme. That theme holds up.
I
Knight
felt that
Rider.
in my heart.
Someone said jazz funk. That's what you call dinner jazz. That's like just really bad elevated music jazz. Someone put Knight Rider. Knight Rider had a.
I am just curious. I talk about these old shows, and y'all like, oh, I had UPN. We had WB and UPN when I was a kid.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? Let's see. I saw something else that said, know a show that I still like that has not, it's just terrible, but it's still funny as fuck. And that's I Love Lucy.
Oh yeah.
You know, Ricky hated it. Of course, all those Cubans did, but especially at that time. But I will say this about that show that was really I didn't think about it till I was older. Ricky had no talent. Like he could not sing. I'm sorry.
Oh, he couldn't?
No, he was just yelling.
I don't remember.
It was like no vibrato, no range, like no real modulation. He couldn't sing. He was just. And on top of that, Babalu is an African god, I believe, right? It's not part of Santeria.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think because I learned. I took a Spanish class. My teacher would make us learn about like Latin American culture on top of it. So because we were a lot of black kids, we were all black kids in my class, she had us learn about Afro-Latino culture. And I believe Babalu was one of the African gods.
Oh yeah, you're right. I looked it up. Babalu is a Cuban popular Afro song written by Margarita Lecuono. The song title is a reference to the Santeria deity Babalu Aye.
See?
Yeah, Afro-Cuban deity. Interesting. So he's there singing songs to a voodoo, not voodoo, but Santeria, which is deity on 1950s white TV. It's almost kind of subversive in its own way. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm reading more about this. Listen to this. He's the Santeria Lord of Pestilence. It's not even like pestilence is like disease, and what's a great word to describe pestilence? Pestilence is like infection and disease. Pestilence is one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. There's a horse in is it Acts of the Apostles? Revelations. In Revelations, pestilence is one of the horsemen. A fatal epidemic disease, especially bubonic plague. And yeah, different diseases and plagues would be called pestilence. Any infectious fatal disease that is widespread or an evil influence or deliver. A pestilence can also be like a swarm of mosquitoes carrying malaria. I think pestilence was one of the things visited upon the Egyptians too in Exodus. So he's singing a song about an African god of pestilence. That's very weird on I Love Lucy.
The other thing
I didn't know that.
Interesting was that they did have, I mean, this isn't any defense of Ricky, but it was really interesting that they had the Latino character to be like this angry guy with this bad temper. That's what that
oh yeah.
Yeah,
they were playing with the stereotype.
Yeah, and the whole time she's like berating him for his accent and making fun of how he talks and all that shit. So I thought that shit was interesting.
Yeah, one thing that's weird, right, with that show is his foreignness is kind of treated as like a shtick. But other than that, they don't really talk about them as an interracial couple, which I guess is fair because technically he's still white. Like, it shows kind of how, you know, even back then, some level, people do realize that Hispanic is not a race. At the end of the day, he's kind of a curiosity, but, you know, he's still white at the end of the day.
Yeah. Let me see. I see so much shit in here. You guys are saying a lot. I was something about cowboys, and I can't find that statement. But I was not allowed to watch the cowboy stuff unless my dad was making me analyze it because it was just so racist. My dad, he just made me sit up there and analyze how they basically you had to learn how they were teaching us about the West and as far as their Western movement from Colorado to California, at least. And so a lot of what we had to, my dad was teaching us was like, notice how white people frame the story. Like everybody else is the bad guy, and they're these good guys trying to advance America or some shit. So
Yeah, a lot of the westerns that they used to have would be very careful about avoiding race a lot of the time. So I thought like the West was like a cool place. I used to watch westerns all the time, but they were presented as just like good guys and bad guys and stuff. And even though looking back, the Native American stuff was pretty bad, but they wouldn't touch the black stuff at all.
Oh, they didn't touch black at all. They would touch Native American and Mexican. That was pretty much the only thing I would see. I watched Bonanza with my mom, my grandma. My grandma used to love Bonanza. I think I said this before. I think my grandma low-key had a thing for Michael Landon. I don't think she'll tell the truth. She's dead now. But because she doesn't like white people in general. So
so he was the one exception.
She never said this. But the 3 shows I remember her watching the most all had Michael Landon in it, which was Bonanza, Little House on the Prairie, and Highway to Heaven. So
it's a perfect example of someone that was legit famous that people don't really talk about now. Like he had 3 hit shows in a row. Bonanza ran like 14 years. At the time, it set the record for longest running TV show. Like I think Simpsons like blew it away a long time ago. But yeah, 14 years. Then he went straight to like Little House on the Prairie. Then straight to Highway to Heaven. It was on the air all the time. He was famous. And after he died, boom, no one talks about him. They don't really run his shows. I find it like fascinating why some people just don't get remembered. I think a lot more celebrities get forgotten than people realize. I think it's very rare that
well, because there's only the certain ones that, so that's the other thing we have to remember how media works. There's certain people are mentioned a lot for a reason. There's a reason why you're conditioned to see certain acts as being classic, because they show it to you so much and they tell you over and over again. Like we know Elvis is the quote unquote, we don't call him that as Black people, I know, but King of Rock. And he's such a great artist because he was pushed into so much, and he wasn't even the greatest artist of his time. So, I mean, as far as his music is concerned, there are people who I think are 100 times better. But he's the white guy, and they're going to push his story and his legacy. Not just him, just different people. It's very clear. Like Paul's another one. They'll constantly push her legacy.
I think in addition to being pushed, because some people get pushed a lot and they still get forgotten in a couple of years, even though they were the person of the day. I think part of it's the push. I think the push is definitely part of it. I'm not discounting that. But I think something else that happens, and this is why I think a lot of people of the modern day are going to be even more forgotten. I think today's celebrities are going to be even more forgotten than the old ones. Even the best or biggest celebrities, if you don't have an actual work, like a work that stands the test of time, you're going to be forgotten. Like your legacy is only as good as the staying power of your work. So there'll be a lot of stars who you find out were huge stars back in the day, like Paul Mooney and all these different, not the black Paul Mooney. There's a Paul Mooney, a white guy who was big before. Before, he was big before
the black Paul Mooney.
He was big before Humphrey Bogart. And there's another guy called George Raft. They used to have the same kind of tough guy roles as Humphrey Bogart, and they were actually more famous than him and stuff. But Humphrey Bogart, he has Casablanca, he has Treasure of Sierra Madre, and I think it's low-key the works. Anybody who stands the test of time has to have attached to them some timeless art. Like I think just being famous isn't enough to keep you. So if you're
I can see that, because I mean, if you think about sometimes even music artists, sometimes you even know the show or the song, but you don't center it on that one person. So I could also play, so like Little House on the Prairie, you probably didn't focus on Michael Landon because there's so many characters and and I think Laura Ingalls is also a lead character in the show. So I could also see you being forgotten. It's like, for example, I talk about like some artists, for example, like Aloe Black. People know his songs, but don't know who he is. Like, you run into him and you wouldn't even know you're sitting next to him because he himself is not famous. His songs are popular though. If I sang some of his songs, you might even know them because they've been on NBA commercials for like I don't know how long, right? He makes that kind of music.
Yeah.
Even though they're hits, you probably and he's not the only one. There's multiple people where you might know their song or you might know their TV show, but you don't know them.
Yeah, I think with TV shows it's even harder because there's so many episodes, and how many people really know a classic Little House on the Prairie episode, even they know it exists? A lot of that stuff is kind of forgettable if you're not like a super fan, But Casablanca, they teach that in classes,
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
People say that, but because I've seen so many of that, especially that last scene, so many times, it's such a trope in TV shows and movies. I just never got into it. I like things that people don't know about typically, so I go on YouTube and find like the most random old movies. I saw Isaac K. By the way, is that your actual picture, Isaac? If that's your actual picture, let me know because. So he said that was why the Nation of Islam was so effective. They addressed the desire of Black people to view themselves as the white men of history. Look at who Marcus Garvey praised, Napoleon Bonaparte. I think that's interesting. I think that's an interesting point because if we're honest, we probably aren't taught a lot about Black heroes, especially back then. So I could definitely see the Nation of Islam taking that up.
Wait. I'm not gonna let that slide. Were you just low-key shooting your shot? Like, what was that? He's gonna have that come and go and we think we're not gonna comment on that. You just blew right past it. Like no one's gonna
I just want to say, Isaac, you are very handsome. That is all.
It's the other way around. You're supposed to get simped on. That's what we're going for. This was gonna happen, right?
Well,
Everyone who's simping for you is gonna see what you just said to Isaac. They're gonna turn insult on you. They're gonna be like, "Fuck Vita."
Well, do they have their pictures in their profile?
Oh, okay. There you go. You gotta put your pictures in the profile, fellas.
Yeah,
see that?
He has his there. I happen to see what he looks like. I like to know what people look like. Like even when I do like my podcast, I like to be on Google. I have to see people. I don't like to just not.
No, that's true. That's true because even when we record, like Vita tries to get us on Google Meet. Yeah.
Because I like to be able to see people, especially even like on Twitter and stuff like that. Like I don't want to be rude to people, but I'm more likely to remember who you are if you have your actual picture. If you have a cartoon or some random character, if you switch that up, I'm not gonna know who you are. And you'd be like, "Oh, we talked about this before." I'm like, "You did? I don't know who the hell you are," But
see, look, Colonel COVID Gaddafi. Now he wants to know what's up. He's like, "You follow my Twitter, you know what I look like." Now you got to explain why. You see that? He's starting like fights now.
But this is the thing.
Troublemaker.
I'm saying that I just particularly like this particular picture. I know in your picture, when I saw you, it was kind of like a bad angle, and I couldn't really see how handsome your face is,
That's a good save. There you go.
Yeah.
Everybody's
handsome and beautiful, okay? Black people are beautiful, all of us.
Hold on.
I'm trying to get a picture.
He said it's not a bad angle. I just look like shit.
I mean, the nice lineup, and you'd be surprised what that'll do.
Maybe he's just fishing for a compliment. He wants you to say, "No, I insist you are very."
I think you're a cool person. I think you're very nice. That you have interesting insight.
That is true.
I could give you. I think you're funny when you troll not really troll, but when you comment statements on my threads. I think you're really funny. So I fuck with you. You know I fuck with you.
Yeah. He knows.
But I do want to know what you guys look like. So if you guys want to just like put your pictures up or hit me up on Twitter if you have your picture. I just like to see what people look like. Maybe
we can do a Champagne Sharks dating night. Just have people just send pictures and we hook people up with each other. Then they come back and then all we need is one. Yeah.
Followers?
What's that?
Do we have? I don't even see Gabriella in here today. Do we have?
Yeah, where's Gabrielle been lately? She's been slacking off. We gotta find her.
if anybody talks to Gabriella outside of here, please tell her we said hi.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you happen to watch this later, Gabriella, hi.
Yeah, Gabriella, hit the bell notification. You're slipping. We expect to see you in here.
He's trying to match you up with one of the incels.
No, we have a very low incel following. We have.
Out?
I think so. Well, I don't think we ever had them. You tried to like say that we did, but I investigated. None of them ever followed us. You're blaming us for the.
Weren't your followers?
What's that?
The people that were harassing you weren't your followers.
Not as far as I saw, man. They were following some other friends of yours, but they were not following us. In fact, several of them seem to really hate Kenny. So I feel.
Why do they hate him so? Because you know what, he do be picking on him. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, he does. He does pick on them.
I could have called him today. I was hoping he was going to be on today.
I know. He may be taking a nap. He's one of those people who doesn't He doesn't sleep a full 8 hours. He just naps throughout the day. Yeah. So at any given time. See, look. If anything, we have been deprogramming incels. See, he says that we're the reason why he stopped being an incel. Like, if you listen to Champagne Sharks, it de-incels you. Yeah.
It should be. It should. Yo, let's get into the nice guy conversation now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Twitter to me, because I said on my Twitter, because apparently whenever I say anything that could somehow be taken.
You love baiting the bear though, man. You like walking through like a bear preserve with like a stake stapled to your neck. Like you just.
It's funny because people accuse me of that on my Facebook too. They say I'm starting shit. But I don't really be trying to start shit. I just think I be saying basic shit, just like my opinion. But anyway, so I said some shit about music. Oh, I said I hate when guys play me music they think girls like. 9 times out of 10 is shit I hate. Now, I didn't say he was a bad guy. I didn't say it was a deal breaker. I didn't say any of that. All I said is I didn't like it. I thought that was pretty clear. Somehow, somebody retweeted it. I'm not going to call him out. He's cool. He's one of my followers, and I follow him. And, we talk all the time. But he retweeted it, and he says, so basically, you're hard to please. And then some other chick replies, I think she blocked me because I called her out on her bullshit. But she said, basically trying to say some shit about nice guys. Like, this is why there are no nice guys or some shit like that. And
man, I hate calling people pick-me's because I feel like it's misused a lot. But some people really are pick-me's. That seems like a kind of pick-me comment. I don't know.
Yeah, so she blocked me because she sounded fucking stupid. Yeah. But so my confusion about this, because even the guy, he kind of agreed with it, I guess. He's like, well, that's why I'm not a nice guy. I said, first of all, assuming a chick is gonna like something because other chicks like it is not being nice. There's nothing nice about that. What are you talking about? That is not nice. What's nice is, what do you listen to? Or would you like to play something? That's nice. Nice is not, I'm going to assume because you have a pussy, you must want to hear Jay. That is not niceness. So this bullshit about somehow, this is a nice guy, I'm dissing nice guys. First of all, you're not nice because you assume some shit. 2, it's usually guys who don't even listen to that shit on their own. It's just some shit they think girls like.
Yeah.
I'm special. I don't know about the rest of you. That's how I feel.
I feel like nice guys.
I'm unique. I don't mean I'm special like I'm entitled to shit. But what I mean is nobody wants to feel like you're just doing generic shit.
I feel like nice guy means to a lot of people, I don't put my hands on chicks. Like I feel like that's what they mean by nice guy. Like that's a very low bar. Like, like I don't do crack and I don't put my hands on women. Like it's kind of like how a black movie is positive just if no one's smoking crack in it. Like I feel like the bar is so low for.
On top of that, I don't think that being nice is a good thing. I think it's fake. Be kind, be authentic, be sincere. To me, being nice, what the fuck does that mean?
And also, like, the people who call themselves nice guys, they be some of the most hellish people, man.
Cool. They're never nice. They're
assholes. My God. Especially if a girl is like fat or they think she's ugly, they will be some of the meanest people you.
No, that's crazy you say that, because when I was in high school, guys I knew in high school, and even guys I knew after, when I was bigger than I am now, that would talk shit about me. Now they're all on my fucking Facebook. One of them just messaged me the other day and told me he thought I was fine.
Oh, nice. Did he recognize you? Did he remember it was you?
Yeah, he knew it was me. But I don't think he remembered. I don't think he knew I knew the shit he was saying, because one of my best friends is a male friend who was cool with a lot of them. So we were just talking one day. He kind of let it slip. And when he let it slip, I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, so he wasn't saying it to your face. Got it.
No. He wasn't to my face. He was talking shit about me. And so, and there was other things that have happened. Like, oh, these guys have been mean to me. So it wasn't like they were just talking shit. Like, they were mean to me. By the way, guys who don't find, not saying all guys, let me clarify that. But a lot of times when you're considered unattractive to guys, they can be completely fucked up to you. I'm not saying women don't do it. I'm not saying that. But I will say, as a woman who is considered unattractive, like, guys have been totally brutal to me. I can't tell you how many times, black, white, whatever else, a guy would open the door for the girl that they thought was attractive, and I'd be right behind her, and they let it slam right in my face.
Oh, man.
Times. I can tell you, so I honestly think that's like, and those guys will say that they're nice guys, I bet you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, that's one line I really liked in those early seasons of Insecure, was when that girl told Lawrence, and I bet you think you're a nice guy. You know, that's the worst part of it. And I thought that was really, really a good scene. That was really good.
And if we're all being honest about who we are, we all have faults. You know what I mean? Like, you're not I'm this perfect guy. How come she doesn't want me? Because you're probably an arrogant asshole. Listen to this tragedy, Gaddafi, or get stuck on the highway. Now, this is the thing. I saw somebody else mention Dave East. I'm not a fan of either of them. However, that I would rather you play what you already like than assume that I like some shit I don't like. Also, I prefer if you play whack rap music or rap music, even if it's not whack, I just might not like it. That's cool too. At least it's rap, and we can argue about it. Because one thing I know about people who listen to hip hop, y'all love to argue. So that's like our favorite pastime, right? So play some shit, and I'm gonna talk shit about whatever you're playing, and then we're gonna battle who's better, who's this. That's a great date to me. So, like, again, you can't do generic shit with women and then expect them to be falling all over you and think that's somehow supposed to feel important to you. Like, if you didn't ask me, don't assume that I just want to hear some corny shit.
I used to have in my car in the 90s when I used to go on dates, I used to have Brandy, Full Moon. I totally was guilty of this. Like, I'm gonna cop to it. Add Brandy, Full Moon.
Thank you. So people don't think I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, add the 112 album. A lot of ladies like that, and so those are my two R&B albums, because everything else was like hip hop, and a lot of girls didn't want to listen to Wu-Tang. So yeah, so I put those two albums on. I forgot what else I had. I think I had like Case or something, and I didn't really listen to R&B. I only had that like for the women. But it's kind of weird. I started liking the albums because I'd be playing them so much, and then Brandy Full Moon is like a good album. Like, I would never ever have bought that album for myself. Or same with 112. Like, 112 that has to be the best album by people who can't sing. Like, they're the most
so funny. I do not think they can sing, but they have pretty decent songs.
Yeah, they cannot sing at all. It's the worst. I'm like, why didn't just give these songs to people who can sing? Like, it's a real shame.
So Isaac said, let me find out Vita is an Ariana Grande fan. Alexis played God is a Woman. So no, I am not an Ariana Grande fan. She can sing, but all her songs are totally corny, cheesy white girl pop songs. There's nothing she makes. The white girl singers that I like don't sing that. like I like, what's that girl's name? She's dead. Amy Winehouse. So those are the white girls. I like white girls like that. Unless they're like country or that's like whatever genre they're in, that's fine. But like that corny pop shit, I can't. Even if you can sing, I just can't get past the corny pop shit. Although there's one Demi Lovato song I like because it got me through a breakup.
I heard she can actually sing. I haven't listened to her music, but someone told me she can sing.
Yeah, she could sing. I saw her on what's that show? Jimmy Fallon, or I think it's Fallon. Whichever, which is the one that has the Roots as a band. Jimmy Fallon?
Jimmy Fallon, yeah.
Yeah, so she was on there. She did that sing like a celebrity challenge. and she had to sing like Christina Aguilera, and she fucking killed it. Then she had to sing
wow.
like a rhyme, like Twinkle Twinkle or some shit, and she had to sing it like Christina, and she fucking killed it. So she can sing. I don't listen to Adele, but she's okay. I used to like her, I guess, years ago. I like one or two.
Adele's got to put the weight back on though. I don't think she's meant to be skinny. Like some people just look better big. She's just looking weird to me, big, small. I don't like it. It's not my place to say, but
I agree. It's what some people just. I don't think they're necessarily meant to be skinny, and then for some reason in show business they feel like they just have to do it. But she was
she looks very generic now. Like and that's an assumption people make. People always assume that however you look big, you're just gonna look 2 or 3 times better small. And some people it doesn't happen. Some people they get skinny, and you're like, oh, okay. Like you actually look better, bigger. I feel like Adele's one of them. Like I didn't even recognize her. I saw her skinny. I was like, who's that? I'm like, oh, that's Adele. Oh.
I'm trying to think who else is a white girl that's a singer that I like.
Wait a minute. How is this misogyny? I'm not even talking about a black woman. How did this happen? How did I get the misogyny thing? I'm talking about Adele.
No.
What's that?
Who's that?
Oh, Death God 623. Yeah, no, you said T with the misogyny noir, but I'm like, I'm not even talking about a black woman. I don't understand how. Oh,
I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, there's somebody else in here. Jennifer.
Wait, how did this happen? Now I moved on to I'm Dirty Mackie. I don't understand.
Wait, who are they talking? What did you do?
I don't know. You were sitting here with me. I have no idea what happened. First, I was doing misogyny noir, and now I'm Dirty Mackie. Somehow, by talking about Adele looks better big.
Charlotte Day Wilson. Okay, if you say she's good, I might check it out. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm probably way harder on white singers than I am anybody else. So they have to be phenomenal. Because I don't like any of the popular white guys that everybody else likes. Sam Smith or John Mayer. I don't like any of those people.
There was this clip of Miley Cyrus singing some song that everybody was going apeshit for, and I didn't find it as great as everybody found it. Like, it wasn't terrible, but did you see that clip? People were.
No, was she screaming? She usually screams. That's what I
don't know. She was kind of screaming. It was some song that I've heard. I think it's called Zombie or something. It wasn't terrible, but I just
it wasn't impressive.
I mean, not to the level that people were. But I feel like black people just want to invite people to cook out so bad. Oh my God, if you just do anything decently, they're just ready to go crazy.
So that's how I feel about like a lot of these people that they're hyping up that just doing that soft, sexy singing, like Snow Allegra and Sabrina Claudio. I think they're racist. Sabrina Claudio has already been revealed as a racist. I don't know if Snow Allegra is going to come out.
Was she the one that was in that Fifth Dimension thing or whatever it's called? Was she in that group with the black girl, Normani? There was some Spanish girl who was in this girl band and she turned out to be racist. But there's another one too that turned out to be racist.
Camila Cabello. She was in a I don't know who she was in, but I remember her because she's pretty racist too. But she said racist things.
There's a couple of these people.
Yeah, she said some low, but I don't know if she's not a soft whispery singer. I think she had like one hit. But no, Snow Allegra and Sabrina Claudio, and there's another girl I can't think of. I just hate that style. I mean, I don't hate the style. I just hate the way they sing. Like that. It's like I'm trying too hard to be sexy thing, and I can't really sing, but I'm gonna act like it. I don't know. Like
you know the name of a song that would illustrate this for me? So
yeah, that was one of the things. She actually did a few things. This was definitely one of the things. I can't remember everything, but this was one of the things she did. Sabrina Claudio. She created a fake Twitter account and was saying all kinds of racist shit about black women. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that I believe. But you're really jealous.
And niggas was okay for her though,
because
people find her sexy. So I saw a lot of men caping for her. Like, oh, I don't care because she's, whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry. You start dissing black people. I can't.
That's an embarrassing thing to say. I hate when people say stuff like that. Like I heard people say stuff like, "Oh, Justin Timberlake, he's the one guy he can get away with saying the N-word anytime." I'm like, why are you fantasizing about that? That's just a weird fantasy. Like, I don't even think like that. Like why are you just nominating people to get an N-word pass? Like, that's just weird. Like why can't you just say this white guy is okay? Why? But there's a lot of black people that say that they like a white person. They guys just saying crazy. Like, I go back to slavery. It could make me a slave. That's how much I like them singing. Yeah, I'd be on the plantation. They could whip me 50 times. Call me the N-word. Like, oh, it's way too much. Just say you like them. I don't.
See, I don't even like Justin Timberlake. I think he's overrated as fuck. I thought
Oh, me too.
Then what's that group called? NSYNC. I thought he was. I never liked his voice. He's the product of great production, and I think that's really the secret to Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I agree. Even his dancing, I think he's just a competent, like someone who works hard. There's nothing inspired about his dancing to me. I can't think of a signature Justin Timberlake dance routine the way I can with even Chris Brown or Usher. You know, he's just a workhorse. That's exactly what he is. He's just someone who studies. Like, when I watch him dance, I can almost see him counting the steps in his head. He's like,
oh yeah,
I don't see any soul in him at all. I like
he's
this.
Not. He has
no soul at all. And then, yeah, so when I saw people saying he can call me the N-word anytime, and I guess it's weird. But I think that's slave play Twitter. I think they just want to have sex with him, so they're just throwing in slave play fantasies out there to see who runs with it. You know?
I didn't know Maul said that in particular, but I do know he was down to let her slide for that shit. I listen to that podcast literally every time.
People are harsh. He said Mal has birthing hips. That's rough. Why are people so mean?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't take anybody on that show saying anything seriously because they don't ever know what the fuck they're talking about, and I don't think that's why you're supposed to listen to the show to get actual information because they don't like listen to them talk. They don't know what the fuck they be talking about, and they'll tell you they know what they're talking about. They just be talking. So I definitely wouldn't take anything any of them have to say. Did you listen to Kendrick Lamar? Because that wouldn't validate anything you say.
Why is that?
I do love Kendrick Lamar. What are you talking about? What would it invalidate?
Yeah. I'm curious to hear. I'm curious, but I'm also afraid to hear the logic. But I want to see.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell I said that could have contradicted me.
Hey, so who are the ladies in the chat? We have Fatima Ali. I think I saw some other there. I'm trying to think if we can really pull off one day a matchmaking in the chat. There you go. I want to see. Because there's people I don't realize are women and turn out to be women, like on the Discord and stuff. So,
I would love to see more women participate in the chat and let us know that they're women. Because
a lot of people don't say that they're women, and you don't realize till Raw on the Discord that like for months I never knew she was a woman until she
Okay, this person just said Troy Ave is really So I don't know if I can take anything you say to heart at all. And I'm so confused about what would be invalidated by me listening to Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, the Troy Ave thing is such a non sequitur. Yeah, see, so we got Robbie. Is RP a woman too? I see RP saying hey. I don't know if that's hey, I'm a woman or just saying random
Robbie,
hey.
Is that a woman? We can't tell.
No, Robbie is a woman. She's the one I found out late was a woman. She's in the Discord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna answer that question because I'm really curious to know what I said. Unless Kendrick Lamar is a soft singing white woman, I'm not really clear on what I said. That would be invalidating. Or you're just saying being a Kendrick fan is invalidating to any of my music opinions. Because if you say that, you sound like a nut. Because you just sat up here and said
fighting words. That's fighting words.
I want people who watch this later to see what this fool said. Look at this shit. So should I take anything to heart? Somebody tells me Troy Ave, who, by the way, I did not hate, actually. Everybody else hated him. I did not hate him until later. But look, I'm not saying anything, but yeah, I'm not. I don't. Tell me how on earth. Okay, I can't even. Anyway, let's see. But as far as like people I do like right now, as far as R&B, I pretty much only listen to her, and Ari Lennox.
Who's that?
Her.
Oh, I haven't tried her. Like I like looking at her. She's on the Twitter a lot. I didn't know she was. Yeah, I didn't know she was a singer. I just thought she was like an IG model for the longest time. I would just keep seeing
Are you
people
really?
tweet. Yeah, because people would just keep tweeting her talking about stuff, and I thought, oh, she must be a personality. It was only a couple months ago I found out she makes music. I just always see people tweeting her talking about something, and I was like, oh, she's attractive. And I
That is
didn't.
hilarious. So you just
Yeah,
all the time you thought she was a pretty girl people kept talking about on the timeline.
yeah, because no one was talking about her music. Everyone kept saying, "Look what Ari Lennox texted today." You know, I mean, on my timeline. I'm not saying nobody ever is talking about it. I just mean on my timeline. Oh man, did she just leave because I said that about Ari Lennox? Did I lose her? I don't know if Vita just got disgusted by the Ari Lennox thing. Oh, here she goes. She's back.
I have no idea what just happened.
Oh, I thought you got so disgusted that I didn't know Ari Lennox was a singer that on principle you had to leave. You're like, oh, fuck this guy. If he doesn't know, I was like, wow, Vita's a really hardcore Ari Lennox fan. Yeah, so
Yeah.
literally only a couple of days ago, I saw someone tweet like, "I love Ari Lennox music." I was like, "Oh, that lady does music," so I want to give it a try. I've listened to her.
She's talked about a lot, and so for you to just realize that she's a music artist is because nobody shares clips of her singing. She can sing her fucking ass off.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I want to send you a clip of one of her of her singing, not acapella, acoustic with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Well, she's not playing it, someone else is playing it. But just her soulfulness is insane. Like she has some beautiful, beautiful vocals. I think SZA is a good writer. I don't think she's a good vocalist.
How was her?
Her is an amazing writer. And even the songs that she doesn't write, she sings it like you would think she really went through this. This girl was only like 22 or 23 at the time. Wow. And she's singing these songs that got me in tears. I'm like, damn, like that shit hit me. She had this one song called Losing. And oh my gosh. She said, I don't want to keep playing these games because I feel like I'm losing. And the way she put that in that song, I was like, oh my God, it's exactly what I'm going through right now. How the hell does she understand these deep ass feelings?
Okay, I'm going to look for that. Hold on. First, Isaac K said I was dirty racking out of the blue. Now he's saying leave Ari Lennox alone. I didn't say anything bad about her. I didn't say she was. I said she was attractive. I said that I didn't know she made music. I didn't say the music was bad. Like this is why you can't flirt with the viewers. See, now Isaac's feeling himself. He's just saying all types of stuff. You got him, puffing his chest out.
What's going on, Isaac? What's going on with you? You never did tell us what you meant by the dirty macking. She's 23 now, probably. I think at the time when I heard her, she was like 22. We'll talk about the time she had that song come out. I'm pretty sure she was 22. But yeah, so she's amazing. Who else is dope that I like? So I don't listen to a lot of modern R&B, so it's going to be a little hard challenging me to think of something.
How about the girl that was persona non grata for a second because they thought she cheated on Kyrie Irving with the party next door? I forget this. Kehlani, that's her name.
Kehlani.
I heard one song of hers that I liked, but I don't remember the singing. Yeah, the song was nice. I don't remember the voice being extraordinary, but I remember liking the song.
I want to like Kehlani. There's this thing about Kehlani. People talk about her. They say she's attractive and she can sing. I don't think she's that attractive, and I don't think she can sing.
You know, a lot of people when you're biracial looking and stuff, they that's all they need. That's all they need. You can there's a lot of people out there who literally cannot tell an average looking light-skinned person or biracial person. Like they just don't. That just dazzles them. I think maybe that's what's going on.
Oh, it has to be because I look at her and I'm like, are y'all serious? I'm not saying she's an ugly.
Yeah, she's not unattractive, but I mean, she's not.
I don't see the glamour that they put like she's just so sexy. I'm not really.
Okay, this is not bad. Okay, that's why I set the mood with that.
Who else was I gonna say? Damn it! Who were we just talking about?
We were talking about Kehlani, and someone brought up Chloe and Halle. I've seen them sing on the timeline.
Beautiful.
Them. I've seen people tweet their singing a lot. Yeah, for sure.
I can watch clips of them. I love them. I will watch every clip you post on Twitter. I will watch that shit. Instagram, I will watch that shit. I will not sit up and listen to one of those horrible ass albums. I'm sorry. The songs are bad.
I hate when people do that when they have good voices. Same thing with rap. I hate when people who can rap but make bad albums. Like, have you ever heard the first Slaughterhouse album?
I don't
Like
it's
that.
bad. So I'm not the biggest Slaughterhouse fan, but I'm not a Slaughterhouse fan. I don't like Joel Ortiz at all. I like the rest of them, except I don't like Joel Ortiz and I don't like Joe Budden. But I like Crooked Eyed. I love Royce.
Yeah.
But I did not need all of them in the same group. I don't need all of them on the same song. They're way too rapidy rap. And I only think Crooked Eye and Royce Joe Budden's good at this, but I never like his songs. But Royce and Crooked Eye are good at being lyrical while having a song and a story.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think Joel Ortiz does as good of a job. The only thing I heard Joel Ortiz on that I liked was that mixtape or EP he had with Nitty Scott and Bodega Bams called No Panty, which is a terrible name. But those beats were good. I thought Nitty Scott and get the fuck out of here. Don't even what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I try to trigger you now. Yeah. Yo, what do you think about Nitty Scott? Like, I heard some of her stuff and it was pretty good, but I haven't heard enough to get an idea of what.
Oh, I love Nitty Scott. So she's interesting because she's sexy and light skinned, but she doesn't make it big like Celine thing. But she
doesn't call herself mulatto. First of all, that's one of the worst names.
She called herself Afro Latina before people were calling themselves Afro Latina. She's actually, I think she's half Black and half Puerto Rican, but she identifies as Afro Latina. She does a really great job. Her last album, especially, I think did a really great job. It was very pro woman, very pro Black woman. And I felt like
people don't like that though. People now just want eat vagina, eat vagina, eat vagina. Like, I can't take a lot of popular female rap now. I like Nitty Scott because, like you said, the couple songs I heard were like she raps about things, but like, and Cardi B had a good point when that WAP came out and people were saying how bad it was. She's like, yeah, there's a lot of women out there who rapping about real stuff and y'all don't buy them. Like, she said that. Y'all buy this. I'm like, that's a good point.
And it's funny because she actually shouted out Rhapsody and which I thought was interesting, and Rhapsody still didn't really blow up off of that. But it's interesting because the women, like, I would have assumed somebody like Nitty Scott who could rap her ass off. But I think what happened with her is she was kind of in with like the underground nerd hip hop people. And so it's like, remember when she was wearing the baggy clothes and was kind of rapping like a guy, when she started being more feminine, being very sexy, but could still rap her fucking ass off. Let's just be clear. She wasn't just rapping sexy shit. She was actually saying something, like not just fake pro sex work shit. It was literally, she makes music for women and it's very clear, but yet she's not as big as like who's that? Meg and Cardi.
Yeah. That's the problem with Meg. Like, she's like started out like 22, 23, and all she talks about is like, getting eaten out and stuff. And I'm like, at my age, I don't want to listen to a 20-something-year-old woman talk about. I feel like a pervert. I don't want to be like listening to like a young girl like half my age talking about getting eaten out. I feel weird as an old guy listening to that. I don't want to hear that. And
I feel weird sometimes, but only because this is my thing. I'm not really big into just sex shit for the sake of being sex. I'm not into anything that's shock value for the sake of being shock value.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be shock value, I want it to be a message or something educational underneath that.
Yeah.
So to me, just saying wet ass pussy, look at how daring I can be. It's just, and on top of that, it's not even daring anymore. It's just it's like
and some people were like, accuse me of being sexist with it. They're like, I bet when it's a guy talking about banging hoes all the time or shooting people all the time, you're fine with that. I'm like, no, I don't like that either. Like, there was a rapper AMG back in the day. I used to like some of his songs, but I couldn't listen to his whole album because he would just talk about sex too much. And Two Live Crew, same thing. I didn't want to hear a whole album of that. Same with the clips. Like, I like the clips, but I would just get tired of, okay, let me guess what this song's about. Oh, moving weight. Okay, yeah, okay.
I like stuff about shooting up shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like it too, but I don't like the same thing all the time. Even NWA, they didn't rap about shooting people the whole album. They would.
And that's what I was gonna say. When people say that, that line that she threw out there is when that's how I can tell people just throwing shit out there and they're not really about what they're saying. But also, those same people never promote women. I actually said this on I said this on Twitter the other day, and then I was on Resistance Noir's Twitch, and Rennie brought it up that I said this, and I'm going to say it here. One of the things I did when I had my own publication, this is years ago, I had my own radio show, hip hop radio show, and I had my own hip hop publication. And one of the things we did is we had a list of female rappers that we were dedicated to covering. So I listed like 10 or 11 female rappers that we were dedicated to covering on our site. The reason why I wrote that was because all these other websites, you know, all hip hop DX, hot new hip hop, all the hip hop sites, all they were doing was writing articles for Women's Month and saying, here are the top 10 female rappers you should know. Then you never hear about them or see them again on that site ever again. That's because they don't actually cover them. How the fuck should I know them if you never fucking cover them, right? So I wrote that. I said, you know, we have to cover that. So I started covering female rappers, and it completely blew up. Like, people love that shit. All the female rappers, Nitty Scott was in it, Il Camille was in it, Rhapsody. I mean, I had a whole bunch of B-Mac the Queen from HS87. I even had a couple Latinas on there. I had Snow the Product. I had Dessa from Doomtree. I mean, so I really was like about that shit. You would go to the feminist blogs, no lie. They would have, like, I remember for Harriet specifically, they had a whole article about how terrible To Pimp a Butterfly was because it was sexist and then there was a white female baby on the cover, which there isn't. There's a baby white skinned or some shit, but it's like one of the guy's kids or some shit. It was just weird.
So weird.
The whole article was really awful. And then on top of that, when I searched on their site looking for female rappers' names, none of them were listed unless they were named Iggy Azalea or Nicki Minaj, because Nicki Minaj was the top one at the time, and Iggy Azalea was the one everybody hated. So that was going to get them clicks. So
but
they spent go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're taking a break. So, I mean, I thought you were done. Finish what you're saying.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things that I realized was that they're not in the business of promoting Black women. They're in the business of getting clicks.
Yep.
And I think that's where people get shit fucked up. So they think they're looking at a publication that's giving them real information, and really they're just giving you clickbait. So Iggy Azalea was clickbait. There was no articles about Rhapsody, not a single one. There was no articles about Il Camille or any of the people that I just named. Nitty Scott, none of them. None of them.
Well, that's what happened on the internet when someone did a tweet about the Black men won't support Rhapsody because they're too sexist. And then all these Black men we talk about Rhapsody all the time. Then they started searching the histories of all the women who were saying this, and none of them tweeted about Rhapsody except to accuse Black men of not listening to her. And people kept pulling up this. Yeah, exactly. And people were saying like it's Black women who don't really fuck with Rhapsody, and all the people who were saying this. But I think for Harriets of the world, they don't believe in anything except clicks. Like, I don't think they even listen to rap. They probably listen to like Taylor Swift more than they listen to rap.
About Black women at all. In fact, I think them and what's the other one? Starts with an M. Y'all know them. They always post some dumb shit. Oh, I can't think of it. Was a massage bar?
Wait, it's a Black feminist site?
Yeah, Madam.
Oh, Madam Noir. Madam Noir.
Yeah, that's another one. So what's interesting to me is how you're gonna their brand is pro-Black woman while being anti-Black woman 95% of the time.
Oh yeah, I always say all the time, these people do not really like Black women either, at all.
Also, was gonna say that Rhapsody. See, I don't expect women to like Rhapsody. I don't, because Rhapsody is a very niche demo. The style of music she makes, for the most part, is a male-dominated space. So I'm in that space. Yeah, I'm in that fan space. People who like underground, not so popular lyrical hip hop. That's not mainstream, especially for women, unless you're Lauryn Hill.
And nowadays,
pretty much an anomaly.
And nowadays, even for men, it's not as popular as it used to be. Now, even men aren't even that crazy about it.
And that's why when people say, well, Rhapsody should be bigger, I look at Rhapsody like I would look at a Sky Zoo, right? Like that's a particular lane. And I don't think it's just not a mainstream lane. I think she does deserve more play and more support and all of that, because I'm a big Rhapsody fan. I was a Rhapsody fan before anybody knew who Rhapsody was. Like, I love Rhapsody. When She Got Game came out, I was all over that shit. And one of my friends actually put me on Rhapsody.
I think even Lauryn Hill, she really hit it big because she didn't rap that much on her actual solo album. And I remember a lot of us guys were disappointed because we thought she was gonna do like half of the album just straight up super lyrical, the other half singing. But she only did like really 2 rap songs. But the singing part was so good that I didn't care. I still liked the album, but I feel like she kind of gotten forgotten as an MC. Like, if she kept rapping, I think she would be like up there with Nas as far as like considered like a rap legend. People forget how good a rapper she was.
I listen to The Score every once in a while. I always pull it out, or I pull a couple of songs off of it. And her lyricism is so fucking insane that good. Even if you don't get the lyricism, it's still a fucking dope line. Like, it's still fucking, even if you don't get the wordplay, it's still so fucking dope. You don't need to get the wordplay. You know what I mean?
I wish she did more rap when she was hot. Like, because I mean, she's a good singer.
The Fugees, them niggas couldn't rap.
No, they couldn't rap.
They couldn't rap.
Yeah, and as much as I like her singing, I think she's a better rapper than a singer. Like, she's a good singer, but she's an insane rapper, and I hate that she didn't rap more. This guy is good, Sampa the Great. I don't know if you've heard him. He looks very Afro-punk, and when I saw him, I didn't want to give him a chance because I thought he'd be singing about some weirdo stuff, but he turned out to be pretty good. I really like his music. It's very heartfelt. It's very emotional, nice music.
I definitely will check out Sampa if Isaac K tells me I should check out Sampa. So Murs, I love Murs. I'm not being regionally biased. I actually do love Murs. He's definitely underrated. I think my only thing about him. You said what? You like Murs?
Oh, no, I'm saying I like Murs too. I'm not crazy about his aesthetic as far as the lane that he's in.
Yeah, I definitely.
Is that what you were gonna say? Like, yeah.
Well, no, my issue.
Yeah, it's part of that alt rap lane to me. What's that?
Alternative rap.
I think we might have a lag. So we're not synced up. I think that's what's happening because it seems like you're hearing me a couple seconds after I say things, or vice versa.
Am I?
You see that delay?
That's
why I seem to be cutting each other off because we're not synced. One of us is delayed. I'm not sure which one is delayed, but it's making us like cut each other off because one of us thinks the other one stops talking. But
let me refresh and maybe that'll help. So let me come in and come back.
Maybe that'll help.
Wait, let me do it first and then you do it. let's not leave them hanging all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Sampa is good. The internet's good too. I want to ask her if she's into the internet.
Is it synced now?
Yeah, it seems to be synced.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Oh yeah, so thinking about Murs. No, I'd rather not know a lot about rappers outside of their music sometimes. And when I don't mean like I know him personally, but there's certain things I would rather not know. And I kind of get the sense from him that he's not really into Black women. Or he has, so I could be wrong. Maybe he has a Black wife somewhere I don't know about, but I just kind of get the sense he's not really into Black women. And when I get that sense, I'm usually right.
Yeah, he gave me a vibe of being kind of like that alternative hipster scene, you know. So
that scene, you don't talk with Black women in that scene. In LA, it's not. No.
Yeah.
They all like Asian women and Latina women, so it's interesting because LA people say we interracially date a lot here. And we don't really, not as much as people think. People go to like West LA where they see a lot of tourists and transplants. Basically, a lot of niggas that come out from other states to go find white women, like they're over there. In South Central, you pretty much see black people with black people. Every once in a while, you'll see black and Latino people together, but for the most part, you see black people with black people. However, in the underground hip hop space, you don't see a lot of black women unless they're with a guy. Now, the single black women.
Why do you think that is? What do you think that is? Do you think a lot of black women are into the underground hip hop scene?
They're not in the same way. I think there are spaces where you will see us, but in a lot of them, you don't see as many of us. I think a lot of it doesn't feel as welcoming to black women. On top of that, I think in LA, at least, the Asian Latino culture here is really big into hip hop. So you'll get like Latina B girls and shit. Like, I don't know any black girls that do B girl shit anymore. You know what I mean? Also,
when I went to Northern Cali, there were a lot of Asians, especially Filipinos, into the underground hip hop scene, like Bay Area. A lot of
And so because of that, they also have a lot of Latinas and Asian girls that go. Now, this is the thing, because when they go, they get a lot of attention from black guys. They won't talk to the black girls that are there most of the time. But they'll talk to the Asian and Latina girls, and there's usually more of them. So if you get more attention in those spaces, plus the music there is sometimes a lot of older school stuff. Like people like black girls in LA are not listening to Slum Village. You know what I mean? So when you go to those spots, you're not going to see a lot of black women there. But when it comes to like the more modern hip hop spaces in LA, you'll like places that play like, I don't know, like back when Nipsey was out, you would see black girls at a Nipsey show. You would see black girls at a Joe Moses show. I'm not a big Joe Moses fan, but they go, you know? So it just depends on the scene. The scene that I was in, I was like one of 3 black girls, maybe.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because when I was coming up, I remember that was a big problem, was that it was hard to find black girls into like underground or classic hip hop. They just liked what was new.
And you're a New Yorker, right?
Yeah, but at that stage,
New York is easier than LA.
What's that?
I would imagine New York is easier to find than in LA.
Yeah, but you know, it's weird. Like in general, I just don't feel like women were into that. But back then, there were no women on the scene, so it wasn't like we had a lot of white, Latina, or Asian women in the underground scene either. It would just be no women, period. It was just a bunch of guys. So it was kind of like a whack scene in a way, because you would just go there and just be a sausage party, you know, basically. But
I can see that.
But now I hear it's different. Like now I hear there's a lot of the same thing. A lot of like Asian people and hipsters. Like hipsters would be like this is Jay Dilla party that they used to throw every year, and when you would go, it'd be like European people there.
Sure, Europeans all the time.
European women were all up in there, from Sweden, Asian women, some East African women that showed up. But you know, it's interesting. A lot of the black women who did show up were like lesbians, and they would just be there on like some butch stuff.
And I was going to say that too. You do see lesbians at these spots. They're usually MCs too, though.
Yeah.
But I was going to also say, when I would go to these places, you know, when you're young, you want to meet guys and shit like that. I would go and want to meet guys. The only guys that would talk to me were either from one of 2 places: Atlanta, because Atlanta guys love black women. They come to LA and they will love them some black women. And New Yorkers. And so it was like the running joke with my friends. How the hell do you keep meeting guys from New York?
Yeah.
I was meeting guys from New York. And my first boyfriend was from New York. A bunch of the girls that got on the table were probably from New York. And usually I met them in the hip hop scene.
No, it makes sense. Yeah. Some more questions about the internet. We were talking about the internet when you were gone. I like the internet from what I've heard of them. And that woman in the group has some nice solo stuff too. Sid is the name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I like
it. I like the internet. I wouldn't say all their songs are my steez, but I do fuck with the internet. I love Sid's voice. She's not a singer. She's not a singer, but her voice fits the music that they do. So I'm good with that.
I feel that way with Diana Ross. Diana Ross is nowhere near the singer that Aretha Franklin is, but I love Diana Ross's music more. Like I think she has. But you like Diana Ross? I like
hate
Diana
that.
Ross
I call her Diana
songs.
Falls. I
Was
think
that?
she was one of those artists that got shoved down people's throats. I really don't. She can't. I don't think she has any talent. I think she's. I don't know.
She can't
She's just.
sing. She can't sing, but I like her voice. Her voice is pleasant to me. She's one of those people. I know she can't
You
sing.
like the way she sings "Home" from The Wiz?
Not Home, but I like
Awful.
that album she has with Upside Down on it and
Okay,
some
I
other
like
stuff.
that song. I won't lie. That
Yeah.
song's kind of my jam.
She has a nice song with Marvin Gaye, the one that what was their duet? They had an album together.
Who? Diana Ross and Luther?
No, the Diana Ross and Marvin Gaye had an album together, and that
Marvin
one has
Gaye.
some really good
I
songs.
don't know why
And
I'm saying Luther.
she's not singing that good on that album either, but her voice just works on the songs. I don't know.
She can't.
I agree with you. She's
You know what? I used to. I didn't. I don't. Full disclosure. I don't actually hate all their songs. I just don't like Diana Ross. I don't.
Oh.
I think she. You know what broke my heart? So I grew up always watching. I mean, I never watched The Wiz until I was 18. I never seen The Wiz.
Yeah.
Before that, I had only heard Stephanie Mills sing "Home" because my mother would play it, and so I would sing that song with my mom. I finally saw The Wiz, and I'm all excited about this movie. I had never seen it. I was getting my hair done or something. They were playing it for me.
You're breaking up. Okay.
Am I good now?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I'm delayed.
Wait. Yeah, I think so. I heard you for a second, but then it stopped. You want me to try to refresh this time? Let's see.
No, I think it's me.
No, I can see you now. You think it's you? Okay.
Well, is it sync now? Because it went out of sync for a second.
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So I finally watched The Wiz, and Diana Ross.
That was delayed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I finally watched The Wiz. Diana Ross is this old ass lady playing a little girl's role, and that shit was already a turn off. Like, what the fuck she doing being a school teacher?
Yeah.
She couldn't even act either. That shit was fucking annoying. And then her singing.
Oh yeah, she's a bad actress.
She got to the home to the home big song from The Wiz, like the song, right? She did horrible. I mean, you listen to Stephanie Mills sing it, and then listen to Diana Ross sing it, and you tell me Diana Ross is not a disappointment. So I can't.
I mean, Stephanie Mills and Diana Ross is no comparison at all. Like for sure. But I mean, like the song with Marvin Gaye, "My Mistake." I think she did a good job on that song, and some of the other ones. Like I know she's not a good singer, but I don't know. She has you kind of wrapped around her finger. I just like her. I know she's bad.
I like that song "Upside Down," and I do like "I'm Coming Out." I do like that song. Any of y'all ever listen to Free Nationals? Is that what's his name's band? What's the name of the guy? I love his album. It's called Malibu.
I know who you're talking about.
Why is his name slipping my mind?
Is it No, it's not Currency, is it?
He's no. He's a singer and rapper.
Okay,
oh my god,
who made Malibu?
He has the album Malibu. I think the first one was called Venice. The last one I think is called Oxnard. Anderson .Paak. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. Is Free Nationals Anderson .Paak's band? Or Paak, whatever. Is Free Nationals his band? Because I feel like I heard that name. Oh, he just collabed with them. Okay, that's why I know who they are. So I only know them because of them working with Anderson .Paak. But if you say they're dope, then I'll check them out. But Malibu is a great album. It's the best album he has made. And I don't know what happened to the rest of those albums, but that was the best one.
You know what I don't like about Aretha Franklin? She's a good singer, but she just oversins things sometimes. So like, and I don't like her actual songs that much. Like I used to own a lot of Aretha Franklin music because I like certain songs, but then when I would try the album, a lot of the songs are just okay, but she just always be just singing. And it's like a perfect example is a song Eleanor Rigby.
Say a Little Prayer for You. She's not.
What's that?
Not in Say a Little Prayer for You.
I like, but that song I like.
Natural Woman. She's not over singing. She has a lot of songs she doesn't over sing.
But I'll give you an example. Eleanor Rigby. Like it's supposed to be a sad, somber song. and she's just making it sound like a party. She's like, I'm Eleanor Rigby, you know. I'm like, come on, it's supposed to be like a lady dying and a.
It's just hella soulful, like.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, this ruins the song to me. Like the song's supposed to be about someone who died alone, and it's not like she had a good life. Like Eleanor Rigby.
You know what's funny? That's how I feel about Mary J. Blige's "I'm Going Down." It doesn't sound as sad as Rose Royce's "I'm Going Down."
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Cry. Mary J. Blige just sounds like it's a fire R&B song.
Exactly. She's another example of someone who sings a lot of things the same way. But then when I like an Aretha performance, I really like it. Like the one I like Rocksteady. I like Say a Little Prayer. I like a lot of her.
Say a Little Prayer is my favorite song.
Yeah.
You know why I like
one,
it?
actually.
I like the background vocals and how they have like how the it's hard to explain, but it's like the background vocals and the forefront vocals kind of go together. Like they almost like a conversation. I just love that. You know what I'm sorry, go ahead.
A Rose is Not a Rose with Lauryn Hill. That was a good one. Yeah, that Aretha did with her. That was very well suited to her voice. I like that one.
Another one from LA, Patrice Rushen.
Oh yeah.
She's from Watts. Just wanted to give a shout out to my hood sisters. Yes, she's very talented. She was the other one who was her unsung episode is really good. She was like a prodigy at they discovered her in high school. She was she was amazing.
Forget Me Not is a great song.
Yeah. If you guys don't watch Unsung, that's like one of my favorite shows
to watch. Good.
You learn. I think Unsung is probably one of the best music documentary shows because they cover people I like, and I like that they cover what happened to them in the industry. I don't mean this, and they combine it with what happened in their life. So you're seeing it at the same time versus me just hearing what's happening in their life, and then randomly you might be throwing in music. But the music is like the core story, and I love that.
Yeah, it's much better than behind music in that respect, because behind the music cares about the salacious drug and sex stuff more than anything else. Whereas Unsung is like from a real fan perspective. They care about the music. The Silvers one was very good. I like that one.
Yes, they were also from Watts, by the way.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, they're from the project.
I used to think every girl on the Silvers was like super hot. But you know what's funny? You know when you're a kid, you don't understand reruns. So when you're a kid, you don't understand reruns. So I didn't understand that these people were like older now, and I'm watching old footage. So I thought like the Silvers were like, looking young now. I was like, oh man, I love all these girls. And I found out later, like, oh, this is like from the 70s. This is not.
The Silvers Unsung is really good. The soundtrack to Sparkle, yes. My mother is obsessed with the movie Sparkle. I have seen Sparkle. I know
I've still never seen it.
It's a really good movie. I recommend it.
I know the album by heart because anything that Curtis Mayfield wrote, I own. So I've listened to the album like 100 times, but I've just never thought to watch the movie. I don't know why. It's weird. It never occurred to me to watch it.
Yeah, I like their version of giving him something he could feel in the movie. And I
remember why I didn't. I remember why I didn't watch Sparkle. Somebody warned me it was super depressing, and then I ended up never watching it. Is it really? Yeah,
the original, not this new shit. The old one. Yeah, the original with Irene Cara. Yeah, it's depressing. It's sad, but it's a good movie though. It's really interesting. Lynette McKee's in it. She's the oldest sister in it. There's a bunch of people in it. You froze. Did I freeze? What happened? Am I still here? Can you guys see me? I don't know what's going on. So it was T that froze. I refreshed thinking it was me. So now that T's not here, what do you guys want to talk about? Only black trauma and abuse can be displayed, not white trauma. What is that? I want to know what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Unsung is so sad. Makes you realize how many broken spirits going into the music industry. There are so many hurt people from dysfunctional backgrounds making great music and being discarded. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, a lot of that is what they draw from to create their art. But it ends up being something, if you don't heal from or, address, it can really fuck you up. But you're right, a lot of broken spirits. And a lot of times, even if they didn't have a broken spirit going in, the industry can fuck your spirit up just being in that shit. So, he said, please send book recommendations. What kind of books are you into? Because I got book recommendations. Let me pull out some shit. I had to heal from your trauma in like 30 seconds. Okay. So let's see. I don't read fiction, so don't worry, Hamza. Yeah, I don't read fiction. Don't worry, you're not gonna get no fiction from me. But I do so one of my favorite books right now is called Attached. Let me you know what? Forgot I have a new phone. But it's called Attached. It's about attachment trauma. That one's really good. Oh, it's called Attached, the New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love. It's actually about your brain and body. The other thing, another book I would recommend is Trauma and Recovery by Judith L. Herman. That's a really great book as well. So those are two books you should go get. If you haven't now, as far as non-trauma books, I would recommend, or books around healing and shit, I would recommend, if you haven't already read Tommy J. Curry's book, The Man Not, definitely recommend that. That helped me a lot. It helped me get insight into understanding what I was looking at in the broader society around the discourse of Black men. And I think that's an amazing book. Another book that I actually learned about from paying attention to him is, what's the book about white women who were owning slaves?
They were her property.
They were her property. That's another good one.
I'm trying to get her on for a while. I gotta keep booking her.
Yeah, and on top of that book, that book along with what's the other one called? Medical Apartheid are two books that kind of fucked me up. So proceed with caution.
Yeah, I have to read those books with breaks between them because they're pretty hard on me. I have trouble reading books like that too much.
Vita, true or not true? Women tell guys they're funny or smart to avoid saying they're ugly. Not for me, for my brother who's 19. Oh, your 19-year-old brother wants to ask this question. Okay, cool. No. First of all, there's a couple of things wrong with even the question. There is no one generic thing that women tell guys. So let's gonna clarify that. Also, if a girl says you're funny or smart, you're probably funny or smart to her, unless she's a gold digger.
I think it depends. If you ask a girl, "Hey, are you attracted to me?" and she goes, "Well, you're funny," then maybe she's saying it because she thinks if you specifically ask her something about being attractive.
But that's anybody. If you want to avoid saying something, yeah, you might bring out a different compliment. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but what I need to know is the girl just bringing up that the person's funny? In which case, I would say just be happy with it, or is she bringing it up in response to a whole different topic? I think that's the extra context that's kind of needed. I think.
Yeah.
So how is the bringing up? Are you that you're funny or whatever? Is it in response of, "Hey, I'd like to hang out," and they just start laughing and saying, "Oh, you're funny"?
I love answering relationship and dating questions. So if you guys have those kind of questions, I can do that shit.
Yeah. Ask them now, people.
It requires weed, Henny, anything you can to get through some of that shit. That shit is so horrific. I have not finished it because it's that horrific. So.
Oh, the book?
Oh, you haven't read Medical Apartheid?
No, I haven't read Medical Apartheid. I actually own it. It's by Roberts, right? Is that her last name?
Michelle or Harriet? I don't know. I forgot who wrote it. But I'm not always good at authors. So it's like people who ask about movie directors. I don't fucking know. But I do, I will say that one. He told me she's saying it when he asked her out, but she curved him. Then
that's what I'm talking about. You need the context of how it was said. Yeah, because if she's just saying, "Hey, you're funny," there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's like, "Hey, you want to do this," and they're like, "Oh, well, I think you're funny." Yeah, that's.
Well, I don't even think she's. Well, even in this situation, it might even be that she's saying that he's ugly. It might just be she's not attracted to him. So she was just saying, you know, you're smart. I think you're a cool person, but I don't want to go out with you. That's what it sounds. I mean, that could be the case. He told me she's saying it when he asked her out and she curved him. So it just sounds like she just wasn't interested in but she didn't want to hurt your feelings by saying, you know, I'm just not fucking with you like that. So she was like, no, you're smart. You're funny. I'm just in another place.
Well, you know, when we were talking about when I said that I was really bad back in the day when a woman was like soft choosing, and I told you that story about like that woman I thought we were going home and I didn't get it. Like back then, I used to think the only way you hooked up was by hooking up from the start. Like you go to a bar or a club and you just spit. That's what I thought. You know, it was. I didn't realize that you could like meet people through friends or somebody can give you hints and you have to pick it up and stuff. So I remember a lot of the times if somebody was like soft choosing or giving hints, I would just go over my head. So when I was at that party where that girl was like basically giving me all these signals, all I was thinking was, I can't wait to go to the bar and hook up over at the bar. So there was like a bird in the hand, and I'm thinking about the three in the bush. And I'm saying that to bring up to this guy that this guy might. I think people overthink a lot of things with that type of stuff. Like she might just be saying that he's funny, and that might be just her way of soft choosing. You know, she might not want to overtly say, yeah, because some people don't do that. Not everyone's gonna be like, hey, I want to hook up with you. I want to do this and that. Some people, that's their, I don't want to say love language, but that's their flirt language, you know?
Mm.
And
I'll say this. I don't think guys take well as often, although I think Isaac K is handsome. They don't really like to be told they're handsome. Guys get really weird about physical compliments. I don't know what it is about that.
yeah, probably.
I mean, in general, I even asked online, do you guys like being told that you're handsome or that you're good looking? And most guys are like, nah.
Yeah, well, you know what? Guys don't expect it a lot. So when it happens, they don't know what to say. Like I remember I used to not know what to say because it was like, you don't expect it. I think guys just used to just being kind of mistreated in a certain way. So I don't think it catches them off guard sometimes when it's comes that direct, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. Like, have you ever told a guy he's handsome and he just gets like awkward about it? He doesn't know what to say next.
No, they just like, thank you. Like, I guess that's kind of how it comes across. So I don't really tell guys they look good, at least not in person. I tell them online.
Yeah,
I think you're a nice looking guy.
I will say though, the guys who really like it are the most obnoxious guys. Like guys who really like and expect to be told that they're handsome are really obnoxious about it. First, they lick the lips way too much. It's always a given.
They have the worst Facebook profile pictures. They're always posting.
Yeah. Or biting the lip like this.
Yeah, that's sexy.
Light skin energy. Yeah, exactly. Light skin energy.
It's just real corny. Like, I'll tell you the truth. For me personally, I don't find any of that to be attractive. What's attractive is when you're, honestly, it's gonna sound corny, but it's really when you're yourself. Like you're just cool. You're just a cool person. You don't gotta be licking your lips. I hate looking at pictures.
No, man. For a lot of light skinned guys, that is being themselves. they be by themselves at home, just licking their lips for no reason.
You're like 2 shades from being like yourself. Relax.
I still got those 2 shades though.
Why do women like being told they are handsome? Because handsome nowadays sounds very masculine. So if you tell me I look handsome, and now I understand, like back in the 1800s, handsome was a compliment for a woman. But in 2020, you call me handsome, I'm gonna be hurt because I'm gonna think you're saying I look masculine. So that's why
handsome is like what you call Eleanor Roosevelt or something. Like it's not handsome. I think is like what's the lowest I can compliment you without actually calling you ugly. Like I feel like handsome that's kind of the idea. I'm the color of a payday bar, I guess.
I want to know who's calling women handsome.
Yeah, I feel like handsome is like a suffragette. Like that's what a handsome woman is. Like someone said JFK's wife was a handsome bitch. No, I don't think she was handsome. I think she was not attractive. She was not attractive.
Who? Jackie Kennedy Onassis?
Yeah.
She
seems like she seems like she's attractive because of how she carries herself and she speaks French and stuff. But you take a look at her grill, she is not like. I think
her
maybe people
face,
like her pedigree or something.
her whole face, like it's
That's what
crazy.
I mean. When I say grill, I mean her whole face. Yeah, I don't mean grill like teeth. Yeah.
The thing about those old black and white photos is they blur everything on your. So that's why you don't see any blemishes and shit on like old stars. It's not that their makeup is even that good. It's just that it's black and white, and that type of film didn't capture. It was like HD. We can see fucking a pimple on a pimple now, right?
Jackie Kennedy kind of reminded me. It's gonna sound mean, but the face reminds me of a pug. You know, like it's just kind of something flat about it.
Yeah. I don't mind if you're mean to women who are not melanated.
Okay.
So,
yeah, Isaac, please share this story. I want to hear.
I don't know the story.
Yeah, I don't know either. I want to hear what Isaac says about it.
So you guys have to also teach me how to do this Discord. So all you guys that are in Discord, if you guys see me in Discord, just message me and help me out, because I don't get anything that's going on in our Discord. I try so hard. I am so lost.
Wait. We say you don't get it. What do you mean? Like
I just see shit and it just be shit. It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Discord is weird to me.
I don't know what I'm looking at. And then there's all these different ways you guys. I don't get it.
Have you ever used Slack?
Our Discord. I joined somebody else's Discord, and I don't get that shit either. It's just Discord.
Have you ever used Slack?
Yes, I think I use it for work now. Actually,
do you find Slack any easier, or because Discord is for gamers, and gamers have a different brain. Like it took me a while to get it. For example, Twitch compared to YouTube for me, Twitch is very confusing to me.
Oh, I'm still confused.
Yeah, I'm very confused on Twitch. I like the community there and everything, but it's like very ADD. I feel like gamers are just drinking Mountain Dew all day and getting hyped up on caffeine, and everything is just busy. Discord is busy, Twitch is busy, but Discord you'll get used to it. You just have to like you understand how the rooms work, right?
Yes, I figured that part out. So it's like a book room and a general discussion room. I kind of just stay in general discussion because that's all I can keep up with. The other ones are a little harder to keep up with. And you guys are so smart in there. You guys read a bunch of books and shit. So,
I mean, we read them in real time, so it's like it's not that hard because we read them in real time. But the one we're reading now is pretty cool. We're reading Settlers. Yeah, if anyone's not a patron, go to patreon.com/champagne sharks. We have a book club and a movie club. It's pretty good. I'm trying to get someone else. Yeah. Go ahead.
You guys watched Spook Who Sat by the Door. I remember.
Yeah, we watched Spook Who Sat by the Door. Yeah.
That is my fucking movie. I watched that. My dad bought me that like when I was in college, and I love that movie.
You know what's cool about Discord too? You can stream the movies in there. So if somebody is playing the movie on their device, we actually watch the movie in the Discord, which is very cool, and then we talk about it.
Can I get it on my laptop?
Yeah. If you put Discord on your laptop as an app, you can watch the movie through Discord. So we watch the movie in Discord, and then after the movie plays, we talk about it for like 2 hours or so. It's pretty good. So I'm telling you, anybody who's not a patron, that shit ain't put in the screen. Yeah, if you wanna, we read the books in real time, and we so let me put it on the screen right now. Yeah, go to patreon.com/champagne sharks. In addition to all the bonus episodes, you get access to and also if you miss the movie club or the book club, if you're a patron, you can listen to the old ones that you missed. So you can do that as well. If you're not able to catch them live, if you become a patron, you can join them live, but also you can listen to the ones you miss as well. So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and kind of see if I can catch up with y'all at least a little bit. I saw that they said that there was some eggheads. You got y'all are eggheads in there. Y'all need some niggas posting some shit.
Posting some like
nigga,
thirst traps.
Get me started.
Uh, oh wait, so he's telling the story now. Joe Kennedy Sr. stole the. Oh, he's telling the story about Jackie O. Do you know they're making an updated Spook Who Sat by the Door, and do you know who's doing it?
Who?
Lee Daniels. Lee
Bruh,
Daniels is
don't tell me that.
modernizing.
Don't tell me
Yeah,
that.
it's gonna be a
Don't.
TV show to boot. It's gonna
Lee
be
Daniels,
terrible.
Precious.
Yep,
Lee
Lee
Daniels,
Daniels at
ain't
Empire,
that
Precious,
when he owing people money? Some shit.
Monster. Yeah, Monsters Ball. He's doing Spook Who Sat by the Door. I haven't heard about it in over a year and a half. I'm hoping that means that the option didn't pan out. I don't know if it's because of COVID or what, but um, he optioned it and then he picked a showrunner, and that's the last I heard about it. And I'm hoping it doesn't.
I hope it doesn't come out. First of all,
Yeah, me too.
this is the thing. The guy who wrote the movie wrote the book, made the movie, and you can't
Yeah.
get better than that. I just don't see how you can get any better than the nigga who fucking wrote the book, and made his own movie. So I love that movie. I think the story is really good. I watched it. I can't tell you how I watched that movie. I just think it's it's so inspiring.
I own the movie too. Like I watch it a lot. You know, it's gonna be really bad about the Lee Daniels version. He's one of those people that works in his own agenda into everything. So he's one of those people. He doesn't like black women. He's like the way that he portrayed Precious Mother. I feel like is how he views a lot of black women. Some of his interviews, he talks about black women being welfare queens, going to the welfare office is full of black women. Like he's got, like, he doesn't have good feelings about straight black men either, but I feel like that's par for the course in Hollywood. But the stuff with black women, I think, is really heinous with him. So
I saw Precious, which I regret, by the way. That shit was fucking traumatic to watch. I know. Really black out and never remember anything from that movie. It's certain things I did black out, and I'm not going to try to dig and find them in my memory. But one of the things I do remember is that there was like the mom was just horrible and horrific for like no reason.
You know what's interesting with that one too is, do you notice everybody who was kind of a savior or good to Precious was like light skin? Yep. Yeah.
So someone told me that in the book they're written that way in the movie because that's how it is in the book. But in the book, you have a better idea of understanding that this is an internal thing with the character. So she doesn't like her dark skin. And so the people she tends to, I guess, be drawn to or think that are good people are light-skinned people. So I guess, so that's what somebody told me. I haven't read the book and I won't. But from what I understand, the book gives you better insight into why these characters are light-skinned.
For better context. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Mariah Carey, Paula Patton,
Nick Kravitz, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's something. And the guy that she fantasized about too, you know, they're all like biracial or whatever. And it
makes more sense when I said what I said, right? Like in the book, it's like a story about her internal issues, about how she feels about herself, blackness. You don't get that in the movie at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's not good at nuance in general. I'm just wondering what he's gonna do with Spook Who Sat by the Door. Like, first off, I'm sure he's gonna insert a lot of gay stuff gratuitously in there, and then there'll be some weird stuff with some big black woman. And yeah, because I don't know, like he just has weird hang-ups. And like, for example, with Empire, one of the things I have problems having Empire, right, is that
I've never seen that show.
He doesn't even seem to even like gay people, because he presents gay black people in a horrible stereotype as well. Like they just don't think about or do anything except like they do all their thinking with just their privates. He has a very weird, like my mom even said, she was like, isn't the guy who created this gay? I was like, yeah. He goes, why does he portray gay people so badly? Like, and that's all they do is just think about sex all the time. In Empire.
Yeah, that's not what's up. Like they don't have any other identity.
Yeah, they have no identities, and it's like they'll even sign like business deals based on being like seduced. So there was like some kind of lesbian person who was competing with him, and he just had like a woman seduce her, and she just signed a stupid contract. Like, yeah. So I was thinking like he has this. he doesn't even like gay people. To me, it seems. I don't understand who he likes. That's black. It's just bizarre.
I'm gonna have to go soon, so giving you the heads up because I
Yeah.
gotta drive 2 people back to LA.
Oh wow.
But I'm in the valley now. I'll consider this real LA. But anyway, I was looking at the chat and people are talking about sex scenes, about good sex scenes and whatnot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate 99.9% of sex scenes. They're not necessary. I don't need the graphics. I can't. First of all, I'm not gonna get aroused sitting next to like my brother watching a fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like that's just awkward. Like I'm with my mom and it's like this weird sex scene. And you're like, oh my god, like what the fuck is this about?
Oh.
It has nothing to do with the story. I don't need the sex scene. You can totally give me the beginning of it and then go to the ends and we're good.
HBO is good for that with gratuitous sex scenes. They love gratuitous HBO, but Stars too. Stars. If you ever watched the show Power and Power Book 2,
I've watched a little bit of Power. I never finished. Yeah. I never watched the first few episodes or something.
It's not a great show, but they love pointless sex scenes. They love pointless sex scenes.
I don't get it. Sex scenes are not good.
What Isaac K.
That's not how sex looks.
Yeah. What Isaac K put here is very I forgot about this, but Lee Daniels admitted in the interview once that he entertained being a bug chaser. I don't know if you know what a bug chaser is. A bug chaser is somebody
or buck.
Bug, B-U-G. A bug chaser is somebody who in the gay community decides that they want to get AIDS on purpose. Yeah. There was a movie about it. It was a documentary and it ended up getting suppressed because the gay lobby kind of really fought against the movie coming out. This was in the 2000s. I forgot what it was called, but it was about bug chasing. But people have debated whether it's a myth or whether it's real. Some people say it's real, but the theory behind bug chasing was that AIDS became so prevalent in the gay community that, and also like the ads and the descriptions of it, like what was happening is they were trying so hard to take the stigma out of having AIDS. You start seeing a lot of ads and stuff where it's like 2 people are like skydiving or climbing a mountain, and it's an ad for HIV medicine. And the theory, what a lot of people said, is that they took the stigma so out of AIDS and the idea that it doesn't have to be a death sentence, that a lot of people got less scared of it. And a lot of people started thinking, I'm so afraid of this. So many of my friends have it, maybe I should just get it too, and then I'll be part of like that club. That's number one. Number two, if it's so inevitable and hanging over me, if I just get it now, I'm just gonna get it over with. So part of it is this idea. I mean, I don't fully understand it either, but those are the 2 rationales. Like A, all my friends have it and I feel left out, and B, it seems so inevitable and I'm thinking about it all day long. Maybe I should just get it over with. And he admitted in the interview that he entertained being a bug chaser once, which blew my mind that he
So he started engaging what?
He has a follow-up somewhere. Let me look what Isaac K said. Yeah. No, I think it's something.
Oh, before that?
Yeah, he started engaging in wanting unprotected sex, hoping to catch AIDS.
Oh.
Yeah, he said that in the interview. That's what bug chasing is, when you just start having reckless sex on purpose in hopes of getting AIDS. And in all fairness, there's people debate about whether it's true or not. So I'm not saying that the overall myth is true. I have no way of knowing. But what is true is that Lee Daniels himself
said that's what he was doing.
Yeah. So whether or not you agree that it's a real thing gay people do, Lee Daniels said it was a real thing that he did.
That's interesting. That is really interesting.
Oh, it's called The Gift. Oh, it's called The Gift, and it's on YouTube now. It was suppressed for a long time, but now it's on YouTube. But
heard of this actually.
Yeah, I'll show you. Hopefully, this is not copyright protected. You never know, but let's see what happens. This is the press that came out about it when it first came out.
Welcome back. Now, believe it or not, there are actually some people who want to get the AIDS virus. The name on the street for some of these people is bug chasers, and the virus itself, they call it the gift. It's also the name of a new film that's getting a lot of attention. It's about a subject we are sure you may find uncomfortable, even shocking.
This is before Anderson
but it's
Cooper
also a
came out as
subject
gay
you should
himself.
not ignore. Here's a short clip. Gift.
That's true, huh?
Friend who is always like, I want to be like all you guys. You know, you all have it, and I don't. What's wrong with me? You know, I want to go out there and get it.
They want to be in the in crowd.
It definitely is not a gift to get it. I would definitely be gifted if I didn't have it.
I have no desire to give this gift to anybody.
Some people have even said, you know, oh, I'll go to your dad. Joining me.
Yeah, so I mean, you get the point. If you want to find it, you could find it. But it got a lot of controversy, and a lot of people said it's going to make gay people look bad, so they kind of suppressed it. And I guess it quietly came up on YouTube, so now it's on YouTube. But for years, you couldn't find that thing. But Lee Daniels was the first like famous person I've ever seen admit that he was a bug chaser. So I was very surprised by that. But he's so weird too. I feel like he might say things just for attention because his interviews are always saying heinous stuff.
I want to give a shout out to Luwap the God. I followed his Twitch the other day, thanks to my folks at Resistance Noir and my Afrogen team. They put me onto his page, and I think it's pretty dope. So I wanted to give him a shout out. You know who he is?
No, but I'm just saying, hey, if he's in here, and you know him, then he's a friend of mine.
Right. So if you're a friend of mine, you're a friend of T's.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that's how we roll here at Champagne Sharks. That's why when you insult one of us, we just block you. We don't care. You're out. But Luwap was shout, and his page. I'm gonna go ahead and promote his page for him. His page is really, his Twitch last saw was really, really good. He plays really dope music. He has great statements. He loves Black women, so I love that. And he doesn't let anybody talk shit about Black people in his chat. He gets you out of here. So nice. I fuck with him and I fuck with his page. And his music is good. So a lot of the hip hop we were talking about earlier, he plays on his show.
Oh, nice. So it's like a music show mixed with talk.
When I saw he was playing a lot of music videos, I don't know what all he does on his page. I haven't exported that much yet, but he's really dope. And I really wanted to shout him out. And he's helping me he's in Discord too. So
okay, yeah. I mean, we gotta get you in the Discord. We're gonna make sure you get Discord savvy. I couldn't get it at first, but it's not so bad. You just gotta read, unfortunately. It's not very intuitive. I had to break down and read stuff.
Yeah, I'll figure it. It's like Reddit. I don't like Reddit either. Because it's
Hey guys, if any simps are out there, this is a great chance to curry favor with Vita. Just one of y'all go up in her DMs or replies on Twitter and be like, "Girl, I got you. You need help with that Twitch? I got you." This is your in. So right there, she's giving you an opening right there. Now, Isaac K, if you don't know, actually no, Isaac K is in good shape. He doesn't have to do anything. For the people who want to skip Isaac K in the line, this is your chance to do it. You know.
Well, this is the thing. It's funny that you say that because that actually does work. If you can find, because the reason why I say that, because what guys think works is like a line or hey or some weird emoji. But if you actually notice, hey, I noticed that you don't know much about this. Let me help you out. You got my attention. So I'm just telling you. What I don't like is feeling like I'm being hit on. I will tell you that right now.
Okay.
I feel like I'm being hit on. I like to feel like we're having a good conversation.
All right, fair enough. I know you have to drive. Oh, sorry, go on.
I have to go because it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, I have to take a baby back to LA. My friend's kid, who is with my brother and my sister-in-law right now. But I definitely appreciate everyone who donated tonight. I appreciate everyone who showed me love as soon as I got in here. Y'all always do that. As soon as I join, I look at the chat. Vita's here.
Yeah, they were waiting for you.
Oh, man, that makes me feel good because I'm excited to talk to you guys. And we have some exciting podcasts coming up. So I hope you guys are ready for that. I think we reached out. We're going to figure out the thing with the Black Men's Association. I can't think of it, but hopefully we can get that all squared away.
Yeah. We got to stay on him.
Faithful Black Men's Organization Association. I like them a lot. So hopefully we can get something figured out with them. Well, thank you, Void, for posting my Twitch. I appreciate that. Because like I said, if I get enough followers, I'll start streaming on there too, and you'll get all my trauma shit and my hip hop shit. People want me to do a lot of hip hop. I'm getting a lot of requests for people to do the hip hop shit. Like I don't see a lot of Black women talking about underground hip hop right now. So I'm down to do that.
Walter Walters mentioning some good movies.
Let's see.
Chameleon Street is good. I was thinking about doing that for movie night, but Chameleon Street's a good one. I haven't tried though the one called they mentioned. There's a new Native Son. I haven't tried that because the Native Son.
I heard it was bad. The new
He looked like Afro punk, like they modernized it, and I feel like you shouldn't modernize some things. You should keep in the era that it was shot in. Some things you can modernize, some things you can't. I feel like Native Son.
I think that requires a lot of time context because I read the book.
Yeah. I don't want to see an Afro punk Native Son at all. All right, Rita, I want you to get on the road. I don't want you to go too late. I'm gonna get going too. I want you to get that baby home safe.
Huh?
There's a baby at stake. I want you to get the baby home safe.
I know. I should. My friends are like, I have to go to work in the morning. Where are you? Why is my baby not here? But
wait, is the baby in the room with you?
No. The baby's
okay. I said the baby in the side, just waiting.
No. My sister-in-law and my niece.
Okay, cool. Cool.
They're the same age, so they're playing together.
Good.
Get out of the damn valley of evil. Yes, the valley of evil. Fuck the valley. All about
this.
South Central. Oh, I just seen this Kenny.
I said you were sleeping too. I said, I bet you he's napping.
He literally said that. Well, come take my place, Kenny. I'm about to hop off. There's a baby on the show. Who got a baby? See, this is what happens when you wake up late to join the fucking stream. You don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
And then B Scott's just running with it. He's like, save the baby from the valley.
You know I have to, because me and her dad are both from South Central, and that's where we live, and I'm sure that's where he wants his baby, because the valley is trash. All right, bye Kenny, bye Luwak, bye B Scott and Isaac, bye Colonel Gaddafi, and everyone else, BL, all the Walter, Justin, everybody. Y'all are all dope.
Yeah, and somebody go help Vita with Discord. This is your shot. This is a chance.
Yeah. Hit me up on one of them. I'm on all them shits. Vidastar, VIDASTARR, Twitter, Lifestar Media on Twitter. Good night,
all right,
guys.
be good, everybody.